August marks the beginning of football and the annual pilgrimage for Husker fans to Lincoln, Nebraska. But this year, the expectations are unbelievable.
Huskers, baby! We're gonna go! Here we go! Right now, it's showtime!
To say life in Husker Nation has been painful lately is an understatement. The once proud program has lost its status among college football's elite. But it's a dawn of a new day and a new era here in Lincoln. Legendary coach Tom Osborne is back in the fold, and his first hire, Bo, definitely knows Nebraska.
I look back at all the tradition and all the things that have gone on here and the great players and the great teams that have played here, and I want to bring every single one of those players and coaches and the people who have all contributed to the University of Nebraska back into the fold and let them know that I might be the head coach now, but they're all part of the family.
Together, the two have already made a huge impact and calmed the fears of Husker Nation. But their ultimate goal will not be as easy. Respect defined this program for decades. It's something they desperately want back, and that quest begins today. It is a record 290 consecutive sellouts at Memorial Stadium, and today the faithful have come to see the first game in the Bo Pelini era. And it will also be the first meeting ever between the Huskers and the Broncos of Western Michigan. Hello again, everybody. Along with former NFL player Rich Baldinger, I'm Ron Thulin. Rich, we have been here a couple of days, and the air of excitement has been very, very obvious, and it almost seems like a sense of urgency on not only the players, but the part of the fans, too.
You had a chance to walk with the fans before the game, and what you feel right now is this calm fury that is turning into a rage right now in the stands. These people have waited all year. Last year, this team was humiliated. They want to put a new chapter on Nebraska football starting tonight.
Well, it really started, though, last year with the hiring of former head football coach Tom Osborne, who is now the athletic director, and you got a sense at that point there was a sigh of relief among the faithful here in Lincoln.
Yeah, there is. And what Tom Osborne does is he embodies everything there is about Nebraska football. They talk about you don't play at Nebraska, you play for Nebraska. When you speak to Tom Osborne, that's what he's bringing back to this university. Calm the alumni, calm the fans, because you know why? They've got a leader that's putting this team in the right direction.
Well, his first hire was Bo Pelini, one of the premier defensive coordinators in all of college football over the last 5 years, coming off a national championship with LSU.
A superb coach, and with Bo Pelini, very pragmatic individual, not a man of a lot of words, but you know what he brings? He brings an energy to the sidelines, and that's what he wants his team to play with. Passion. Look what he did at LSU, what he did at OU, what he did at Nebraska, and also as an NFL assistant. He's worked at both the pros and college. He understands what it takes to be successful.
Well, he not only understands what it takes to be successful, he also understands and grasps the tradition of Nebraska football, especially the tradition of defense. He's concentrating on that, Rich.
Yeah, and that's the big question tonight. This defense, well, they were in the dark ages last year. I'm looking for a renaissance tonight. Are we going to be able to come out? This team last year, last in everything. Very simple. Last. That's what it was. But with Bo Pelini, he's changing things around. He's bringing a new energy. He's looking at leadership, and that's what you want to see. Bo Pelini as the head coach, is he coaching still? Oh, yes, he is. He's down in the field, folks. He's in every huddle. He's making sure his guys are doing right. When you look at the defensive line up front, what are you seeing? You're seeing an aggressiveness, attack that offensive line, take them out of their comfort zone, and you know what? Create opportunities to get off the field. That's what they have to do to be successful.
I love it. You're excited. You're ready to play, aren't you? Now, one of the things he's also done, and this is kind of interesting what he told us yesterday, these players have taken a sense of ownership of this defense. He not only has explained their roles in the scheme, but he has explained everything to them.
And he's laid out his expectations, and this is what he wants. And, you know, and in our meeting with him, I was sitting to hear him speak, you know what? And I'm an old guy, but I'm ready to go right now, because I'll tell you what, Husker Nation, the eyes of Husker Nation right now are upon us at Lincoln, and they're looking for a new football team, and I think we got it tonight.
One of the great traditions of Husker football is obviously what they call the tunnel walk. The roar behind us, the fans are anticipating this roar. These fans cannot wait to see this team take the field. It is something, once again, even with the victory over Kansas State here last year, they're waiting for something big tonight.
Yeah, and there was a frustration. There was a disconnect with the last coaching staff, with the public, with the fans, with the alumni. And you know, one thing when you speak with Bo, one of the things he talks about that are important in his life is his family. That's what he's bringing here to Nebraska. He wants people to know that everybody's part of this organization, and that's what's going to make them successful.
Ladies and gentlemen, they are lining up in the tunnel. This is somewhat significant. They're coming out of the tunnel into the light. It almost significant in the fact it marks the new beginning of Nebraska football. Let's watch this historic moment. The Bo Pelini era is underway. 80,000 fans are ready. The teams are ready. We'll step aside when we come back. We'll introduce you to the third member of our broadcast team. Plus, starting lineups, opening kickoff from Memorial Stadium in Lincoln. Welcome back to Memorial Stadium in Lincoln, Nebraska. Nebraska has the nation's longest winning streak in openers, 22 straight, dating back to 1985. The third member of our broadcast team, Stacey Pace, joins us with a familiar name to Nebraska football fans.
That's right, Ron. Irving Fryer is down here on the sidelines, of course, on the Broncos sidelines, a Nebraska man at heart, but his son London plays for the Broncos. How will you cheer tonight?
I'm going to cheer for number 6 on the Broncos side. Blood is thicker than water.
That's right. That's a good answer. And look at this, what he's wearing. Normally, Nebraska fans used to seeing him in the red of the Nebraska side, but he's wearing the 6 of London Fryer. Thank you so much. Enjoy the game.
I surely will. Go Broncos.
All right, Ron, back to you.
Yeah, Rich, I never thought I'd hear that out of his mouth.
No, and also with that type of clothing, I hope Irving's going to be okay on the sidelines down there. We might want to get him a bodyguard.
And we are set for the opening kick. Western Michigan won the toss. They deferred. And it is going to be a short kick. It'll be Asante. Up over the 25. Tripped up at the 30-yard line, and the officials will mark it at about the 28-yard line. DJ Biggers on the stop. Good field position for Nebraska to start. Of course, Nebraska is going to be led by Joe Gans. 3 starts in 07. Great numbers. 7 touchdowns versus Kansas State. He said he wants to make better decisions this year. Immediately, Mike McNeil goes into the fullback spot. Straight handoff ahead to Marlon Lucky, the senior out of Hollywood, California. Nothing doing for him. And for Nebraska, the rest of the offensive line, Murtha's going to be out, so Marcel Jones, the redshirt freshman, is going to get the start at right tackle. Look for a very physical offensive line.
And a much slimmer offensive line this year, too.
Absolutely,
we'll
by
be
a lot.
talking about that.
And in the skill position, lost a lot of talent at wide receiver from last season, but still very talented with Lucky, Swift, and Peterson. Peterson to the far left. A lot of switching on the line already, Rich.
Yeah, there is. There's going to be a lot of changes, a lot of multiple looks.
From the 32, Lucky looks for the left side, has some running room, crosses the 35-yard line. That's where they'll mark it. All 11 starters are back for the Western Michigan Broncos. We start with the D-line. They're going to have to get some pressure from this defensive line. One of the keys for head coach Bill Cubitt's team from Marshall and Davidson. The linebackers, McCarnell, Duclos, and Porter. They have to get some help from them, but the strength of this team belongs in the secondary. All seniors, outstanding corners. Irving Fryer's son London at one, and E.J. Biggers at the other.
And watch for that defensive line for Western Michigan. Very active, trying to get into the gaps. Last year, tried to play two gap and created problems. You got to be more active to stop the run this time.
Third down and 7 for Nebraska. Last year, 43%. We have a whistle and a stoppage of play. And Nebraska's going to call their first timeout. And we will also take a timeout. Bo Pelini's squad facing 3rd and long when we come back.
Just watch some of the games from last year.
Yeah, some of the sights and sounds of Memorial Stadium. Even the little ones are enjoying this. It is an absolutely spectacular day for football. Those of you in Lincoln know it's sunny, 87 degrees. Pretty good wind out of the south at 19, gusting to about 26. And for the weather geeks out there, we are expecting the sunset in exactly 1 hour. 2 hours, about 2 hours.
Yeah, the sun might be setting, but the energy level's just beginning here in Lincoln.
Now Peterson goes, Swift goes to the far side. 3rd down and 7. Less verbiage in this offense as far as the passing game for Joe Gans. He says that makes them play a lot faster.
Yeah, it's multiplicity through simplicity. You're going to make a lot more different looks, but you cut down the plays, but put them in different looks so it creates more problems for the defense.
On 3rd down and 7, Western Michigan showing a blitz. But they only bring 4. Gans has plenty of time over the middle. First down, Nebraska. Over the 45 to the 47. Menelik Cole, who had 4 catches last year with his first of 2008. Austin Pritchard, the linebacker, who's coming off some knee surgery, was on the coverage. Boy, getting him on a linebacker, Rich, is a tough cover.
It is, but the one thing I like about Joe Gans is the way he delivers that football. He's in the shotgun formation. I like the way he gets set in the pocket. Look at delivery, comes out, and this is a timing pattern. Holt's right there in the zone. Doesn't go too far. It settles down right in the middle. Doesn't drag himself into the linebacker. Good completion on that play.
And that's a first down, the first one of the year for the Huskers. Gans keeps it, little play action, dumps it off at the 50 down to the 49-yard line. Tripped up on the play. Quentin Castile, the young sophomore out of LaPorte, Texas. They are very high on this guy. He played as a true freshman, one of 11 true freshmen to play. Louis Delmas on the stop.
And the one thing about Joe Gans that he gives you, unlike Sam Keller or Zach Taylor, is he's a dual threat. Let's get him out on the edge. Let's get misdirection in there. And I'll tell you what, mobile quarterback, defensive line, linebackers, they've always got to keep an eyeball on that quarterback and makes him a step slower.
Swift, Holt, and Peterson now all go to the left. Lucky alone in the backfield. On 2nd down, we'll call it 6. Straight ahead inside the 50 down to about the 49 just to pick up a 1 on the play. Harrison Porter coming up to make the stop.
Number 51, Harrison Porter.
You know, you talked about Joe Gans being a dual threat. He's out of Palos Heights, Illinois, just out of Chicago. Not only does Joe Gans have a Chicago attitude, they call it, but people forgot he was a dual threat in high school.
Yeah, he is, and that's what's so important now, especially in this West Coast offense. I think that's the dimension he gives you, that short passing game. You've also got a running game, but now you add that quarterback, that mobility, to be able to break, contain, extend the play with your feet. It makes it that much harder for the defense.
On 3rd down and 6. Here comes the pressure. Gans reads it, dumps it off, passes incomplete. Peterson had it in his hands. But still, we showed Joe Gans showing a lot of poise backpedaling. That's a tough pass to complete.
Yeah, you got the right tackle, Marcel Jones, number 78, starting, and a little bit of pressure that time against Greg Marshall, number 54, a gentleman who had 6.5 sacks. And I'm going to tell you what, this is the pressure he was feeling at quarterback, Joe Gans. That's the one thing I would say about the young man. When the pocket begins to break down, go ahead and find a little place to step on up. Here they bring the inside blitz. He's able to get rid of the ball.
And Nebraska will have to punt it away. Dan Titchener, the senior from Cheyenne, Wyoming, one of the captains. Jake Biggers standing back at his own 10-yard line. Good snap off the side of his foot. Not a good kick. And Western Michigan's going to get outstanding field position for their first offensive possession of the ball game. Titchener was so consistent last year, averaging better than 40 yards a kick. And now it's the Nebraska defense. No black shirts yet, Rich.
Not at all. And, you know, the one thing in talking with Bo Pelini, he's still looking for some leadership. He has some questions about the depth of this defense, but he says, you know what? My guys are playing harder. He brought some pro film, put them on so he could see it, and he goes, this is the way you got to play. The guys are understanding it. Let's see if it transfers to the game field.
Well, Tim Hiller takes over at quarterback, coming off an outstanding year yardage-wise, and that looked like a busted play. Cody Glenn, the reformed running back, makes his first stop on defense.
Yeah, and just the guy who got caught up in the numbers routine. Didn't really have a job at the tailback position, so, hey, I'll go play linebacker. Let me do something. Here he just shoots through, and again, a little miscommunication on this with the running back. It looked like the quarterback, Tim Hiller, turned the wrong way on that play.
And that'll be a loss of 2 yards on the play. Good defense by the Nebraska Huskers. Hiller this time pitches it to Brandon West. No running room, absolutely zero. Zach Potter led the charge. Let's take a look at this Western Michigan offense. Tim Hiller, the Orville, Ohio, the northwest part of the state, was the MAC Freshman of the Year in 05. He was thrown in as a starter at that time. Redshirted in 06, had big numbers last year, but he didn't feel comfortable in this offense. He does now. And I had a chance to meet with him this morning. He is an outstanding young man.
Yeah, now we're in 3rd and long. We're looking for sacks. Last year, Nebraska, only 9 sacks on the year. Can they get pressure when it counts?
38% last year for Western Michigan on 3rd down. Nebraska's showing blitz. They bring 5. Hiller steps up in the pocket, throws. Nice defensive play by Cody Glenn again.
Great job getting back on the zone that time, seeing the running back and getting his hands across, anticipating the throw so he could deflect it. Take a look at Cody Glenn. Excellent job. Here's the throw. You're going to have the quarterback, Tim Hiller. He has some time. Watch him deliver it. But again, Cody Glenn anticipating, knowing, following the quarterback's eyes. Great play.
3 plays minus 1 yard for this Western Michigan offense. John Porter set to kick it away. Nate Swift back, and they're just going to let this go because it is not a good kick. Bill Cubitt, the head coach of Western Michigan, telling me this morning, Rich, he goes, listen, I love our kicker, Ben Armour, the redshirt freshman. He says, but listen, these guys can kick a 60-yarder, then the next one's shanking off the side of his foot.
Yeah, consistency is what counts in special team, whether you're a punter or the kicker, and that's what you got to work on. But I'll tell you what, talking about Cody Glenn, how about having a tailback going to linebacker position? Do you think maybe he has a pre-snap read and understands what these offenses are doing? It's a great job for him on that time, but he's also one of those guys who are looking to be a leader on the defense.
Now they got a split backfield. Quentin Castile out of LaPorte, Texas, the sophomore also in there. Gans keeps it, got some running room. He's over the 40. He's over the 30-yard line, and they'll mark him out of bounds at the 29. Louis Delmas with the stop. Shades of Nebraska football.
Yeah, great job on the weak side option that time. Fake the draw, fake the lead, the lucky up the middle. And again, the mobility and the speed of Joe Gans. Take a look at it here. They took away the pitch, and now he just outruns the option guy there. He outruns the man that's supposed to take the quarterback, and that's the dimension. Not only does this quarterback have mobility, but he's got speed. Take a look at it. He just flat outruns the defense on that. The Western Michigan had that lined up perfect, poor angles, but that's the athleticism of Joe Gans.
And what that does now is it loosens up that Western Michigan defense. Gans just picks up, fires it off the side. Holt with the catch, gets down to about the 25-yard line. Austin Pritchard on the stop. you know, when we were talking to Sean Watson, who is, by the way, an outstanding offensive coordinator, he was offensive coordinator for Gary Barnett at Colorado. What a lot of people forget about is that he was able to play smash mouth football and he was able to throw the ball around. In fact, one year it was 200 yards passing, 200 yards rushing. He likes that versatility on offense.
Yeah, and he was the guy in 2001 that put 65 points up on Nebraska the last game of the season. So if you want to look at defensive woes for Nebraska, it actually started that day.
Lucky the lone step back, three-step drop into the flat. Pass is caught by Peterson. He's got the first down inside the 15 to the 14.
Yeah, we're just seeing West Coast offense that time. Again, Todd Peterson just running the quick out. He's getting the corners, giving him a big pushing down there. Joe Gann's delivering it and doing a good job now of managing the game. Don't force the football. That was the problem last year here. He sets his feet again. So important the quarterback gets your feet up underneath you. Now you can deliver with some mustard on the football. Nice pitching catch that time with him and Todd Peterson.
What we're seeing too is the tall wide receivers of Nebraska having their way with the shorter corners of Western Michigan. 1st and 10 from the 14. Pitch back to Lucky. Looks for a block. The stutter step. Could he go? Yes! Marlon Lucky with a touchdown.
And I'm going to tell you, the reason why he got that is he hit behind Max Lawson.
The first touchdown in the Bo Pelini era coming from Marlon Lucky. He had 9 rushing touchdowns last year. His high school coach from Hollywood, California, here in Lincoln watching. But what we saw there too offensively, Rich, I think, was classic versatility in offense. Good run, good pass.
It was, and also what you saw there is what you haven't seen in the past. Student body left by that offensive line, getting to the edge. Marlon Lucky showing patience, cutting up behind his right guard, Max Lawson. He just stays on his man, and he's into the end zone for the touchdown.
Great rush the holder. Alex Henry the kicker. He was perfect last year, 45 of 45 on extra points. Perfect tonight, but it was Marlon Lucky. A great stutter step, the first touchdown of the ball game, and Nebraska leads by 7. 8:06 left to play in the first. Just over 8 minutes left to play in the opening quarter, and Marlon Lucky has electrified this crowd. And what we saw there, too, was sort of a change in philosophy in the red zone as far as offense goes for Nebraska. Right?
Yeah, good job here in terms of running the student body. And here's Slauson getting out front. And look at everybody just getting a hat on hat. Also, Mike Smith. And what you like out of your running back, watch the offense line. Watch him get out in front. I like Mike Smith. Get a hat on somebody. Slauson just get a hat. It doesn't have to be devastating, but look at the timing with Marlon Lucky, the running back. Don't be impatient. Sit, let those big guys get on somebody, and good things are happening. And that's what you have there, a touchdown for Nebraska.
Adi Kunalek is set to kick it away. He has the strong arm, the native of Bosnia. Played his high school ball, North Crowley High School in Fort Worth. A good look at Bo Pelini. He's getting a workout on the gum tonight. How many pieces do you think he's going to go through? Do we have an over and under on that? How many pieces of gum he's going to go through tonight?
You know what? When you talk with him during the week, he's so calm, cerebral. But you know when game time comes, it's a different dimension.
Aaron Winchester is back along with Brandon West. And it's going to be West who drops it. The Nebraska defense swarming at the 20-yard line. Gang tackle, nothing doing.
And we see the fumble by West, and this is one of the things that Coach Cuba wanted to talk about was how his team dealt with adversity. You know, last year, first 3 games, turnovers, one led to another. So let's see what happens this time coming out.
Now let's take a look at the rest of the starters for Western Michigan. Their offensive line, they've had a lot of shuffling, but their best lineman is left guard Philip Swanson. He is a moose in that left guard spot. They like him.
And also a Nick Mitchell at center, young guy starting at center, tough in this noise.
Keep an eye on West and Simmons. The crowd is loud. Miller straight drop, looks off. Pass is caught by Jamarco Simmons. The senior out of Flint, Michigan, keeps his feet as he gets up to the 28-yard line. Zach Potter holding on for dear life. The Nebraska defense Now they've got three seniors on the defensive line. They are solid with Turner and Potter at the end, Steinkuhler and Sue right smack dab in the middle. Linebacker, new linebacking corps from a long time. Dillard the vet, but Cody Glenn, the best story on D. We've talked about it a little bit. We'll get more into it later. Murillo, the only returning starter in the secondary, joined by Westick, cornerback. O'Hanlon and Tenarson share the free safety spot. Asante starts at strong safety. Second down and short for the Broncos. Hiller again putting it up. Into the flat. They've got a first down, caught by Brandon West. And we've got a penalty.
Late hit on Cody Glenn, number 34. Out of bounds.
Little too excited.
Number 34, Cody Glenn.
Got to play smart. I like that time by Tim Hiller, the quarterback. Corner blitzed that time. Stood in the pocket. Knew he was going to get hit, but he delivered the football anyways.
Personal foul. Defense, number 34. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Tom Walker, our referee tonight from the Big 12.
Take a look at the hit. He just had to play smart. He's out of bounds, and Cody Glenn's those. I mean, it's 3 yards out of bounds. Those are the type of plays. I promise you, Bo Pelini will meet you at the end. In the middle of the field, he's going to meet you.
Exactly, because that's exactly what Bill Cuba was talking about, is making those mental errors that cost you games. That's a first down and 10 now. A little halfback pass back to Hiller. He lost the football, but it'll go out of bounds, and it still belongs to Western Michigan.
Oh, and I'm going to tell you what, he had Juan Nunez, number 81, wide open. Wide open on the frazzle-tazzle play, and he lost the football. Take a look at the misdirection. Here it goes, and he's got a little throwback.
It just slips out of his hands.
Take a look again. Yeah, he came back to throw, and it just kind of came right out when he...
Oh, Zach Potter was about to give him a denture check.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things you know you do with your kids, the fake throw.
Yeah, loss of 8 on the play. Second down and 18. He'll try the ground game, and again, nothing going. Aggressive defense. Ty Steinkuhler right in the middle of that.
Yeah, you know, last year was all about one gap. Now look at Ty Steinkuhler at the point of attack. He gets the lockout. And when I'm going to talk about that, folks, defensive line, what Bo Pelini wants to see is he doesn't want to see hat to hat. He wants to see that defensive line get arms extended, shed the blocker. Now you can make the play. Last year they were running into gaps. They missed them half the time. That's why they were giving up big yardage. Tonight, it looks like they've got an improvement in terms of stopping the run.
Third down and long. It's 18. Here comes the blitz. Hiller in trouble, and he is going down.
I tell you what, Bo Pelini's bringing them up from everywhere.
Barry Turner's going to be credited with the sack. He had 3 last year.
Yeah, this is, again, talking about all the different blitzes. You bring too many people, and again, the confusion. Offensive line's trying to slide that way. Nobody went ahead and picked up Turner. They looked at the corner on the outside, and there's the sack.
This time another bad punt. Bill Cuba just got another gray hair. Nebraska's just going to let it bounce. They're still will get excellent field position. But still, this Nebraska defense has done an outstanding job in this ball game. Only have given up 9 yards. Minus 23 rushing now for Bill Cuba's Broncos of Western Michigan, as Bo Pelini's offense will come back onto the football field.
And last time you saw them on their last drive doing a good job of mixing up the runs, both inside and then eventually going to the toss sweep, and then also working the short passing game. And Joe Gans, the one thing he does is the ball comes out of his hands, gets it to his receivers, and the thing in the West Coast offense is you want to get the ball in your receivers' hands while they're in stride. Don't break them down. Don't make them stop their feet. Let them stay in stride, and that's why they can make a big play out.
You know, we talk about Joe Gans, the senior, and last year, obviously, he took over when Sam Keller was hurt, started the final 3 games, record-setting numbers, 400 yards passing in each. And you think he'd come into this camp saying, all right, I've had a good year. I am the starter. We talked to him yesterday. If anything, it's made him even more hungry. He said, listen, I have worked way too hard, because you look back at his history. He comes into this program. He gets bumped back, was a proverbial backup. But he told us yesterday, I've worked too hard to get to this point. Nobody's taking my spot. You have to tip your hat to this young man.
Exactly, and we asked him, what does this game mean after what went on here last year? He said, this is a statement game. It wasn't about Western Michigan. It was about making a statement for Nebraska football.
Well, he made a statement against Kansas State, and I had the pleasure of doing this game, and he was absolutely remarkable. There you see Marlon Lucky. Maurice Purify was also outstanding in the ball game. But you mentioned it earlier, he's a timing quarterback.
Exactly.
And he showed it in this game.
He did, and the timing's on. And it's so important to know where your receivers are at on the field. And you have to do it every day in the West Coast. You've got to practice it and practice it. Joe Gans has got it down, and they're going to need that this year to compete in this Big 12.
Quentin Castile, the sophomore from LaPorte, back in the backfield now behind Gans. First down and 10, ball's on the 38-yard line. Little play action again. Gans looks right, dumps it off into the flat. Castile with some running room. Nice move inside the 35 down to the 32-yard line.
Yeah, and also we're talking about Joe Gans. How about the little step to the left in the pocket to buy him that little bit of time? Then he finds Castile coming out. Watch him there. Here's the snap, getting away. Now he sets his feet. He looks people up. Now he feels pressure. Now just move to your left a little bit. That opens up a nice throwing lane. Castile now has a chance to get that ball and do something within the open field. So many running backs for Nebraska.
Outstanding move by Castile. He only had 3 receptions last year. He beat the yardage on that play. Niles Paul in motion. They run the option again. The pitch. Putting the head down, maybe losing about 3 yards on the play. Nice play by E.J. Biggers, stopping up Castile.
Yeah, cover 2 that time. He's got run support. He's going to get up the field, and against that option, the one thing that corner's got to do, got to turn it back inside. Inside pursuit's got to come, but if the corner doesn't turn it back, anybody gets to the edge, it is a long afternoon for the defense.
Loss of 1 on the play, second down and 11. 4 minutes, 22 seconds left in the opening quarter.
You like seeing what you're seeing on offense right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and, Coach Watson talked about this. A lot of looks, not so many different plays, but just a lot of different looks to confuse the defense. He's doing a good job right now.
Paul and Holt wide to the left. Straight drop this time. Penalty flag is thrown. They dump it off. Castile again lowers his head, takes a shot at the 30, but we have a couple of hankies on the ground.
Yeah, I think we're going to have some motion. I got one of those up on my wall at home.
Is that in memory of all the times you were offsides with the Chiefs?
It's got my name on it there for everything. I get the whole laundry list of them.
Here's Tom Walker.
Illegal shift. Offense. Penalties decline. Third down.
And that'll push him back a couple of yards.
And that's the one thing Coach Watson said. We're going to use a lot of shifts and a lot of motion. And you know what? You can practice this all day, Ron, but until you get in this game and you got the clock working against you and people running in and out of the sidelines, you're tired, you're trying to communicate things, you never really get the timing down. That's why everybody was so ready to play this football game.
You know, in talking to Sean Watson yesterday about, it's been about 3 years since he's really called plays. But the players were raving, and I asked him about it. He goes, it's just my guts and instinct. He's doing a pretty good job with it now. Third down and 8. Ball's on the 29-yard line. Dan's going to change the play up a little bit. Get some little extra protection. Little pump fake. Going deep for Pater. Pass incomplete. Here comes the flag. That's interference.
Oh, yes, it is that time. Number 15, Andy Dorsley, that time didn't get his head around, and the pump fake is what caught him. Can't panic on that situation, but an excellent job by Gans throwing through the back shoulder.
Pass interference. Defense, number 15. 15-yard penalty. Automatic. First down.
Here it is again.
You just got to find the ball. He stumbled a little bit. He tried to at the end that time, but an excellent throw this time in terms of throwing it to that backside shoulder. So what happened was Nate Swift automatically had to turn back, and it caused the defensive back to cause the collision. That's how you get your interference.
Only about 8 penalties a game last year for this Western Michigan defense. Once again, 11 starters returning.
And that's that timing I'm going to talk about. You can see that that Joe Gans, Nate Swift, Todd Peterson have been working together in the offseason, spring ball, summer camp, getting the timing down.
Now everybody to the right and nobody to the left. Castile, left side, slices his way down to about the 13-yard line. There's Delmas on the stop. Castile, you look at Lucky, you look at Hello, you look at Castile. What you have pretty much is 3 different types of back. Lucky, more of the speed guy. You got Hello, kind of the slasher. Then you have Castile. You look at him, by the way, he's lost about 30 pounds. He's a different kind of runner than the other 2.
And I'll tell you what, you can also throw Marcus Mendoza in there, too, and you've just got afterburner. You got a guy who can throw up cosmic dust when he runs.
Second down and 9. Two wide receivers to the right. Western Michigan dancing around on defense. Gans looks for the option, fakes the pitch, and takes a hit. Harrison Porter, the sophomore out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, laying the body on him.
Yeah, and on that play, I'm going to tell you what, Harrison Porter, he did an excellent job of playing both people. What you have to do, Joe Gans, when you run that option, you got to press that line of scrimmage. Take a look at it here. An excellent job in the zone. We get some movement, but see how deep Joe Gans was on that option play? It makes it easy for the linebacker scraping around. Now I can play both people. Joe Gans, you got to stay as tight as you can to the line of scrimmage on that option.
Well, it sets up another 3rd down and 9. And on 3rd down, Nebraska 1 for 2 so far tonight. Straight drop. Here comes some pressure. Gans steps away from it. Still has time. Closing in. Pass caught. 1st down, Nebraska to Todd Peterson. Again, the patience of Gans telling us he's not going to force anything, and he didn't hear.
Yeah, and he feels the blitz in there. Again, there's that mobility. You talk about why is it so important to have a quarterback who can get out of the pocket? That explains it right there. That's what Joe Gans gives you. And that's what I'm seeing so far this year in terms of patience. You don't have to panic. Now the defensive man's coming at full speed. Just sidestep him. Get outside the pocket. Break contain. Now you watch Western Michigan maybe not send as many blitzes.
And it's 1st and goal from the 3. The pitch. Castile looking for something, lowers the head. E.J. Biggers undercuts him.
And trying to pull big Marcel Jones, number 78, outside on this, on the toss. Take a look at it. Didn't quite get there. Young freshman, about 6'7", about 315 pounds. Again, some miscommunication between him and the tailback. In the fullback, excuse me, on who has who on that. When you get on that toss pitch, just get a hat on somebody. Don't worry about it. Just get a hat there. They didn't do that. That's the reason why Western Michigan's defense was able to stop the play from getting a touchdown.
Now they go to a little I formation. Just Gans keeps it wide open in the end zone. Touchdown, Mike McNeil. McNeil's first touchdown as a Husker, but the key to that play was selling that handoff.
Yeah, it was, but also watch the misdirection here. Guard pulling, then that, and watch how Joe Gans, if we can take that play back, watch Bo Pelini first. He's loving this, but watch how Joe Gans on that play also hides that ball on his hip. Defense thinks it's gone. He's able to get outside and make the throw.
Oh, I know the people at the MVR Club in Youngstown, Ohio, that have pictures of Mike and Bob Stoops, Mark Mangino, Jim Tressel, and their favorite son, Bo Pelini, are raising quite possibly an icy light right now. Extra point is good, and Nebraska leads it 14-0. We only have 55 seconds left, and McNeil getting a little hug. The sophomore out of Kirkwood, Missouri. This is a young man that's had to battle a lot of injuries. Shoulder surgery, had a leg injury.
Oh, yeah, and we're going to get a chance to just take a look at this play, folks. And I'm going to tell you, again, if we can run that back, guys down the truck, if we can get that back just a second, I want to show you where Joe Gans carried that ball on his hip. And I'll tell you what, bring it all the way back, freeze it right here. Watch now he comes in. Watch the fake. Now let's run it. Now, you see how he keeps that right arm out? You don't know if he gave that ball or not. Excellent job. It looked like Peyton Manning on the play fake that time, hiding the ball. Now there's a guy working on those type of things in the offseason. That's why you're successful.
Not a bad night for Joe Gans. 8 of 9 for 78 yards, 31's as long, and a touchdown. And now Western Michigan, as Bill Cubitt told us on Wednesday in the phone call, and this morning he said, I'm really curious how our guys will handle adversity. They've played in big places. They beat Iowa last year. You know, they've beaten some tough teams. Missouri only led them by 14 going into the 4th quarter.
And one of the question marks, though, was able to stop the run. And right now, though, Nebraska's doing an excellent job. Offensive coordinator, Coach Watson, mixing up the plays.
This is a high end over kick. It'll be Brandon West taking it away from Winchester. He's got some running room. Over the 30, up to the 33-yard line for the junior out of Brunswick, Georgia. Over 2,100 all-purpose yards last year. Kohler on the tackle for Nebraska. I told Tim Hiller I'd say a special hello to all his relatives watching in the state of Ohio. Westlake and Orville and all over Ohio. They're buying the package today, Rich.
Yeah, and you know the one thing in talking with Bo Pelini at Big 12 Media Day, he said, hey, to beat this spread offense, 3 wide receivers, you've just got to change it up on defense. So far, excellent job with different personnel, bringing people from different angles to control the offense.
And now the empty backfield for Hiller. Straight drop, plenty of time. Fires, passes complete up to the 35-yard line to West. He loses the football. Zach Potter had it. Let's see what the officials say. Nebraska football.
Again, Cody Glenn on the play, too, on this. Just take a look at it. Nebraska's just going to go to a zone defense. And I'll tell you what, West had this, and we wondered about this. Were they going to try to get him underneath one-on-one? Here he has the ball. He's going to try to take it upfield. But again, Cody Glenn just reaches in with that left hand and is able to strip of it. Take a look at it again on the inside. It was almost looked like a face mask a little bit on that play. And that was the reason why maybe he fumbled that football.
Eric Hagg was right there, the sophomore out of Peoria, Arizona. But this is a Nebraska team that had only 11 takeaways last year. Let's see if they can capitalize. Final 41 seconds of the first quarter. Lucky back in the backfield, another play action. Gans looking for it all as it tipped as he goes down hard. Jack Davidson was right in the face of Joe Gans.
And he stood in the pocket that time. He wanted to go deep, but did you see the one thing he looked for? He was looking for Marlon Lucky out of the backfield on the check down. So again, you're looking at a quarterback making improvements. He talked about it last year. I forced the football too much. I have to be able to take the check downs. You're seeing it right there. Again, that's a positive sign that your quarterback is going in the right direction.
Now Todd Peterson goes wide to the left. They go back to the I formation. Strong side to the left, man in motion. They pitch it back to Lucky. He's got some red bodies in front of him. Gets one block, can't get enough. Down to about the 28-yard line. Lewis Delmas coming up from that free safety spot. The sophomore out of North Miami Beach, Florida.
Yeah, he just had Mike Smith pulling out that time, and also the center that time, Jacob Hickman pulling around too, around the outside. Just taking a look. Let's go ahead and take a look at the high end zone. Look at Hickman get around, and also Smith. Now I'm going to tell you the one thing I would tell the left tackle, Mike Smith. Get on your high horse. Run to the eye. You've got one aiming point. The outside part of the numbers. Get a hat there. Give you a chance for your running back to make a cut.
And that's going to be the first quarter coming to an end. And it was a good first quarter for Nebraska. They hang 14 points on Western Michigan, 132 yards. They hold Western Michigan to -7 yards. Huskers lead the Broncos 14-0 after one. There were over 80,000 on hand for the spring game. There are over 80,000 on hand for the opening game of the Bo Pelini era, along with Rich Baldinger and Stacey Pates. I'm Ron Thulin. Good to have you with us today. Let's take a look at the numbers from the first quarter of play. You can see the first downs. Nebraska's dominating that, especially time of possession. How about 10:31 to just 4:28, and a turnover, of course, forced by this Nebraska defense, and that's why we are at 14-0 right now. What stands out to you?
Just the domination up front. I wanted to see an offensive line. They talked about being slimmed down, being able to be more mobile, doing some different things. You're seeing a toss sweep. But most important, I'm seeing a quarterback, Joe Gans, who's made improvement from last year. He talked about the things, and he's transferring it from the practice field to the game field. That's what you want to see out of your quarterback.
Well, one of the rule changes that's new that hasn't seemed to bother either team right now is the 40-second clock, along with the horse collar. The chop block rule's been changed. Challenge rules changed. No leading with the helmet. Sideline rule for coaches. The face mask penalty also changed. It's now automatically 15 yards. But it doesn't seem that it's bothering Nebraska right now, especially the 40-second rule.
No, and that's the one thing I wanted to see this year was the 40-second rule in terms of offense, especially spread offenses, changing personnel. You got to be able to get up to the line of scrimmage with about 18 seconds left so you can make the changes. It looks like Nebraska's worked on this in the offseason, and it's definitely showing on the field tonight.
What also is showing is Nebraska's running in a lot of different players. We saw Castile got a lot of playing time. Lucky sat out a couple of series. Niles Paul's getting playing time. Gillian is also getting playing time. Now Lucky back in. Mike McNeil in motion. They try to set up that little bubble screen to Marlon Lucky, and somebody got a hand on it. I think it was Corey Flom, the big senior out of Prior Lake, Minnesota.
Yeah, he did. He got a good hand up. Listen, if you can't get to the quarterback, just go ahead and get your hands up. Slide protection. You see Slauson trying to get outside. The timing of that play was never set up. Should have waited a little bit longer, but also I think my quarterback, Joe Gans, he's got to move a little bit on that screen pass to draw the defensive line.
Now that'll bring up a 4th down and 5. Ball's on the 27. It'll be a 37-yard field goal attempt for Alex Henry. 3 for 3 from this distance. High snap. They get the ball down. Outstanding job by Jake Wesh at putting the ball down. 3 more on the board for the Huskers. 14:50 left to play in the opening half, and Nebraska leads it 17-0. The first of 5 consecutive home games to start the season for the Huskers, taking advantage of it tonight, 17-0. You can look around Nebraska. You see a lot of history, including the Wall of Fame. And on that is number 34, Trev Alberts, and he joins us on the phone now, probably running to the airport from a ball game. Trev, Ron Thulin, and Rich Baldinger, good to have you on the telecast tonight.
Thank you, gentlemen. Good to be with you. I am. Just got done with the Navy Townsend game, running to Reagan International Airport, but I'm happy to be with you.
Hey, Trev, one of the things we've seen right now has been total domination by this Nebraska defense. In fact, right now they've allowed only minus 7 total yards. That's a point of emphasis for Nebraska. It's probably something pretty dear to your heart, too.
Well, it really is. You know, I think the reason why the great Coach Osborne, our athletic director, made the move to bring in Coach Pelini was that offensively, you know, we were okay. Sean Watson did a nice job. Coach Callahan did a nice job with the offense. It was defensively that we'd really fallen off, and Bo could make an immediate impact there, and he certainly has. The players are playing hard, and it's just nice to have that black shirt tradition playing like black shirts once again.
Trev, just talk about the frustration as an alumni of Nebraska. You saw this happen last year. I mean, what did the alumni think? I mean, it's got to be emotional for you when you see losses like that, but how does it feel? Have you had a chance to talk with Bo now and seen some of the changes? Have you had a chance to communicate with them?
Absolutely. I've been back to Lincoln about 3 or 4 times, and you know, the important thing is that what built Nebraska, our culture, was that Coach Osborne, Coach Devaney, we were a family. You know, we valued all of the people in the state. Everybody felt like they had a part in the program and that they were directly responsible for his success. And the former regime just simply didn't want to have anything to do with the former history and culture. And Bo has certainly brought that back. He's embraced it, the walk-on program, all things about Nebraska history and tradition. And, you know, it just feels great to be part of it again, feel like you're welcomed back and part of the family. And as you guys know, it doesn't matter if it's your football family or your natural family. If you feel like you're a part of it, that's obviously a great thing.
Trev, one other question for me. Do you think that would be a great show for like the Discovery Channel or something about the history of Nebraska? But how important the fans in the state is to this program?
Well, they're very important, and that's the whole point. That's what Coach Osborne's trying to bring back. You know, we've got about 1.7 million people in our great state. We all have to feel like we're a part of this thing. We all have to do our part. If we're all pulling together, there can be no divisiveness. If we do this together, Nebraska can be a great program once again. It means the world to the people. It's our identity. And so having a team that represents, you know, the values of the people in our great state is so important. And I think that Bo Pelini, this staff, and these players understand that, and it's a team that we'll be able to identify with again. We'll lose games, but we lose with class, play hard.
All right, Trev, we appreciate you stopping by and being part of our show. In fact, one of the things Bo Pelini has done is he's put the D back in dignity and defense here in Nebraska. Well, we got Western Michigan with a little mini run right here. Hiller showing some poise. He dumps it off to his big tight end, Brandon Ledbetter, one of the better tight ends in the match.
preparing for the game during the week, getting ready Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then playing the game Saturday. I think if you read his words, it's all about being in this game mentally. You can't be thinking too much. You just got to go out and react. But how do you get to that point? Well, you get to that point by preparing, by understanding what your opponent's going to do. And when coaches bring you over, that's what they want you to do. Stay mentally in the game. Physically, you can make it. You'll be able to get conditioned. But mentally, so important to continue to be fundamentally sound, because you know what? It only takes one play, and there's 7 points on the board.
You know, one of the things he's been preaching to Bo Pelini, and they're still in the timeout.
It's not going to happen on Saturday.
All right, 1st and 10. Ball's on the Nebraska 49-yard line. Western Michigan up to the line of scrimmage. Hiller over center. Fakes a handoff. A little play action. Looking down the middle. Thrown into double coverage. And it is going to be intercepted by Matt O'Hanlon. Penalty flag is down as O'Hanlon gets up to the 50, down to the 40, down to the 30. He is going to be corralled inside the 25-yard line. But once again, 2 penalty flags back at the 12-yard line where O'Hanlon picked the pass off.
And I'm telling you what,
Automatic, first down.
well, they got Armando Murillo, but it also looked like Matt O'Hanlon actually had his hands on the receiver. Might take a look at it again if we get a possibility here.
Well, we're having some technical difficulties. But Anthony West is the man who was labeled for the infraction. So they'll bring the ball. They'll push it down to the 34-yard line, right hash mark. That's where Western Michigan will begin 1st and 10. 13-10 left to play in the first half. Kirk Ellsworth now in the backfield behind Hiller. Hiller on the play. Cody Glenn coming up to make yet another stop. That'll bring up a 2nd down and 8 after a pickup of 2. 12:55 to play in the second.
Nice call by Bo Pelini that time. You saw a slant charge by the defensive line. And I'll tell you what, how about Cody Glenn? Is he all over the field? Number 34. I'll tell you what, he is showing up. But again, as a former tailback, he's seen all these formations. Yeah. So there's a guy who's got great insight. I'll tell you what, he's showing it on the field right now.
2 wide receivers to the right. Now 1 is Jamarco Simmons. Goes into the slot left side, I formation for Hiller. Hands it back off to Ellsworth. Ellsworth nothing doing. May have picked up a yard as he gets down to the 30-yard line. Ty Steinkuhler on the stop. We understand some of you are seeing the signal. We have a penalty flag back at the 23-yard line, far side of the field.
And one of the goals Nebraska wanted to do as we hear the call is talking about stopping the run. And I'll tell you what, Ty Steinkuhler that time, excellent job. And also
Dead ball play, personal foul, defense for 5 on this 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Well, we've already had the late hit called on Cody Glenn, and this is the 2nd 15-yard penalty. And, you know, we always talk about no matter how a game goes, coaches always have points of emphasis on Monday. I think he's got 2 right now, Rich.
Oh, I'm going to tell you what, they're not going to wait till Monday. You're going to hear it in the locker room. But again, defensive red zone, last year, team 61 times down here, 46 touchdowns. I want to see this defense from Nebraska. Can they bow up right here and stop this Western Michigan offense?
75% of the time, opponents of Nebraska last year were able to score 6. Hiller, straight drop. Here comes the pressure. Throws it away. Ball is loose, but they're calling it an incomplete pass. Great pressure put on by Sue from that nose guard spot.
Yeah, he did. He worked the angle that time, got his shoulder, and he kept bringing his feet. Watch Sue, number 93 on this play. Watch the push. Watch how he works through the offensive lineman. And this is one of the things that Carl Pelini talked about, the defensive coordinator. Last year in the pass rush, too much wide angles. Work through the offensive line. This time Sue makes it. Hey, I'll tell you what, we'll just take a look at Carl Pelini. He is going crazy on the sidelines.
And that brings up a 2nd and 10 from the 16. 4-man rush. Hiller looks to the right. Pass off the hands of West. They had him locked up on Cody Glenn, what they wanted, but the pass just out of his reach, and that'll bring up a 3rd down and 10 from the 16.
Yeah, the one thing you've seen out of Cody Glenn as the linebacker, former tailback, is he has that acceleration speed. Here he's matched up one-on-one against West. Now watch how he can close the distance. He comes right back into your picture. Again, West has got to be able to hang on to that ball. You're down here. But again, I like the way Cody Glenn is able to stay one-on-one with those running backs.
3rd down and 10 for the Broncos. Nebraska calling out different defensive numbers. Hiller tries to set up a screen. West one-hands it. Has some running room. Inside the 5. Looks for Pater. Comes up short. Asante knocking him out of bounds at about the 2-yard line.
Yeah, Prince that time, number 21. He's got caught. He's got to turn that back inside. And again, he got some big old linemen out front there. There was number 61, Nick Clements, on the outside. Take a look at this. The screen sets us up perfect. And again, watch Nick Clements get outside. That's a big 61. But again, right at that end there, Prince cannot let that tailback get outside.
That brings up a 1st and goal from the 4. Schneider Julian goes wide to the left. West behind Hiller. The pump fake, looking, throwing, incomplete. Looked like it was intended for Jamarco Simmons, their best receiver, who has been very quiet so far this evening. Only 1 catch for 7 yards. Watch this coverage on the left side.
Yeah, again, being aggressive. That was one of the difference Bo Pelini wanted to see out of his secondary, getting their hands on people. Take a look on it here in the outside. Don't stand in the end zone. Get up, get a hand on somebody. And again, they're in a nickel defense. They were able to bracket Simmons that time to keep him from getting back inside on the catch.
Simmons now goes wide to the left. West at the top of the I formation. The fake. Hiller throws into the end zone. Touchdown, Broncos. Their big tight end, Brandon Ledbetter, the sophomore from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. He had 6 touchdowns last year. Put another one on the board, his 87th career reception.
Yeah, and then one of the things coming in the game I wanted to see was that combination of Ledbetter and also Simmons, because you're going to see a lot of these good combinations in the Big 12. But again, blown coverage that time. Ledbetter just coming off the line of scrimmage. You see Asante stepping up when he had tight end coverage all the way.
Potter's kick is good, and Brandon Ledbetter, who already owns the Western Michigan record for career receptions for a touchdown by a tight end, gets another. 11:07 left to play in the 2nd, and the Husker lead's been cut to 10. The touchdown by Western Michigan has caught the attention of Nebraska, but it was aided again by a personal foul, a 15-yard penalty. Also the pass interference, and that doesn't make Bo Pelini happy. Let's go down to Stacy Pace with a very special guest. Stacy, who do you have?
Well, Ron, you know, he's talking while I'm talking, because if you see over here, his partner, Irving Fryer's causing trouble. They have been spending time together this entire half. I know you guys are not trying to catch up on old times.
Oh, no, matter of fact, Irving's from New Jersey, and I am too. So we grew up together since we was little kids. So I know Irving very well, but his son's on this team. So me and Irving had a little wager, $50 that Nebraska win. Oh, well, I bet $50 Nebraska win. He said no. So right now, he won't get my money.
You're a traitor. You're actually going against your nephew, and I'm going to tell him.
Oh, that's ugly.
About the family.
Oh, that is ugly. Talking about kicking him out of the family, that's not good. Let's talk about some family atmosphere here, because obviously Coach Tom Osborne now in the front office, the athletic director. What were your first thoughts when you took that position?
Oh, I was happy. The whole country was happy. Because, you know, wherever I go, people talk about Nebraska. Wasn't doing too well the last few years, and so I hear all that jibber jabber. But when Coach Osborne come back, he's turning the program around. I mean, it's not going to happen overnight. But if you see right now, even though he's playing against a sorry team, but we're doing pretty good right now.
You're lucky Irving's on the phone right now. He did not hear you say that. You know, looking back on your playing days, you know, it's such a storied program here. What was it like for you? You heard those jibber jabbers from those people talking about Nebraska over the past few years. What was it like for you, having come from what you came from, looking at what it was the last few years?
It was great. I mean, when I walked in the field today, I mean, I could hear everybody cheering and howling, and just to see the sea of red. I remember when I first time walking on the field, I just stopped in the middle and said, oh, this red. So I know how these guys are feeling. I mean, just walking out, and they didn't even start the ball game yet, and everybody's howling. You get kind of scared. But it's a great atmosphere. They're great fans. They love their football down there.
How do you think this program's going to come now that they got a new guy at the head spot?
I think we'll definitely turn around. We've been out of the loop maybe 2 years, but we're coming back. Everybody got to rebuild sooner or later.
That's right. You think you can beat me in the 40?
I retired. I don't run no more.
I don't think you can. I don't think you can. Well, I'm going to let you talk with Irving some more. Enjoy the rest of the game. Thanks for your time.
All right, thank you.
All right, Ron.
I'd like to see Rich run against him, to be honest with you.
Hey, let me tell you something. Him down there in the Houston Oilers and that offense, they caused a lot of miserable moments for me.
Well, right now, Mike Caputo, the redshirt freshman from Omaha, in at center. Hickman getting a breather. Gans still in, throws it out on the flat. Pass is incomplete, intended for Holt. Good coverage put out by London Fryer. London Fryer's son, of course, the senior from Johnstown, New Jersey.
And Holt runs that little comeback. Got to continue to come back to the football that time. He stopped and kind of didn't extend his arms. Always got to extend those arms, catch the ball at the fingertips, then to the hand, then to your body. And again, working on that timing. It's all part of just being out there in the field, and that's the difference between game speed and in practice. Things just happen so much quicker.
Now Niles Paul goes wide to the right as Western Michigan brings in Dorsley, the nickel back. And Gans will go from the shotgun. They are still a zone team, but they run it from so many different ways. Gans straight drop over the middle, pass caught up to the 38-yard line by Peterson and gets up to about the 39-yard line. And he is swarmed over by a bunch of white jerseys, but not before he gets the first down.
Yeah, running that slant, he gets inside, and you can see him. He turns his head right at the right time. Take a look at number 17, Todd Peterson, on this. Excellent timing on the short route. Again, Joe Gans getting time. He's got a nice view. He delivers the ball, and it sees. Maybe could have been in front a little bit more, but he saw that safety coming over, so he wanted to get the ball right into his receiver's hands, threw a little bit behind him.
This is a team that ranked 9th nationally passing last year, set a school record for yardage. Now Gans looking, firing wide open. Swift, he's going to take it to the house.
Coach Watson wanted a high-powered, a high-tempo offense, and he's getting that tonight. And I'll tell you what, Joe Gans doing a remarkable job. Again, it's a quarterback lead. Now there's a boot action off that, and here comes Swift just dragging across the middle of the field. But everybody in defensive backs wear their eyes right at Joe Gans, trying to keep him contained. They forgot about wide receiver.
And Dorsley, the nickelback, is the one who slipped and fell. Henry, the extra point. It is good. 10-14 left to play in the half. The lead back to 17. But Nate Swift, the senior out of Hutchinson, Minnesota, who started the night, number 4 in Nebraska history with 103 career receptions. That one covered 61 yards in the touchdown, and Joe Gans continues to put up impressive numbers. 10 of 15, 151 yards, 2 touchdowns for him.
And you know, you look at you just take a look at all of what the great quarterbacks in this conference, and again, look at Nate Swift, and we talk about the yak, yards after carry, makes something happen. Excellent balance, able to get his right hand down, and he's down the sidelines. But I'm going to tell you, it starts with number 12, Joe Gans, and he's loving it right now. You know, I wanted to see which receiver is going to step up to take Maurice Purify's position. Well, right now, Todd Peterson, Nate Swift are in competition, but Joe Gans' mobility, be able to break, contain, forces those corners to freeze their feet. It makes the safety stay a half a step longer. Now your receivers can get behind. And I'll tell you what, this offense looks exciting for Nebraska again this year.
Well, Gans had 16 touchdown passes last year, already has a couple tonight. And when talking to Bo Pelini about it and watching this maturation process of Joe,
The one thing Bo talks about is that he gets it. He understands the offense, and Joe telling us yesterday, he understands it probably better than a lot of the coaches that aren't offensive coaches.
You know, and the thing at quarterback, it's making the right decision. I had a chance to talk with Coach Chiswick at Iowa State, and that was one of the things he said about all the great quarterbacks at the Big 12 Media Day. He said, you know what all these guys do? They all make great decisions. When you know where to go with the football, your players around you say, you know what, this guy understands it. Let's follow him. He's going to put us in the right position. What you're seeing out of Joe Gans right now is that leadership, the poise in the pocket, and knowing where to go with the football.
So far, a good night for Bo Pelini, only giving up 7 points. Western Michigan now on the positive side as far as yardage, 43, but Nebraska's got over 200 already, 205. Adi Konelek set to kick it away. Winchester back deep. The line drive kick with the wind. And West wisely takes a knee. Well, as we know, Bo Pelini's not the only new coach in the Big 12 this year. A couple of other new ones down at College Station. Mike Sherman, former NFL coach. Coach of Brett Favre, is taken over at Texas A&M.
They're bringing a pro-style offense down there.
Yeah, and Stephen McGee has really adapted to it, in fact, because he was a passing quarterback at Burnett High School in Texas, so he likes it. Then you have Art Briles at Baylor, who is considered a legend in Texas high school history as a head coach at Stephenville a number of years before going to Houston last season.
Well, he accepted that challenge, and he stepped up, and you know what? He's going to make some things happen down there at Baylor. One thing he'll start is he'll get that recruiting pipeline going.
Oh, absolutely. Had a rough night against Wake Forest. Defensively, they didn't play well, but Bo, one of 3 new coaches in the Big 12. Pass was incomplete, 2nd down and 10 from the 20.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, circle Wake Forest in the ACC. Them and Clemson probably for the championship. Riley Skinner, Coach Grove down there, great defense at Wake Forest. Got some good people. They're going to make some good things happen again.
Hiller again will change the play at the line of scrimmage. He's got a lot of freedom. Here comes Nebraska. They bring 5. The pressure's on. Hiller, nice read, gets it to Simmons, his big wide receiver, who gets it up to the 35-yard line. Haig on the coverage, but he's got the first down.
Yeah, just watching Simmons, he's right, 6'2", 234 pounds, just running to deep in. And again, this time, Tim Hiller has some time in the pocket. He's able to step up, and I like the way that Jamarco Simmons runs that route, dragging across the middle. When we want to talk about pressure, being able to get to the quarterback, you're seeing a different blitzes. That time, we call that a cross dog. 2 inside linebackers crossing in the middle, hopefully create some confusion.
This time Nebraska only brings 4. Hiller's got some time. The deep out overthrows Simmons. The senior out of Flint, Michigan, Central High School. 84 receptions last year, 4 100-yard games. We had Haig and O'Hanlon on the double coverage. This is a priceless young man, though, this Simmons kid. Hiller cannot talk enough about him, how outstanding. He's big at 6'2", but he's 234.
He's got a big body. He's able, and he runs nice routes too. He uses his body to shield himself from the defensive back. And I'll tell you what, that's the standard now for the receivers. 6'2", 225, 230 pounds. Got to have it if you want to succeed.
Those used to be linemen. 2nd down and 10 from the 34. Hiller flares it out to the side. Nothing doing. Nebraska, led by Eric Haig, covers him up after a pickup of about 2 on the play. Simmons got nowhere.
Yeah, but I'm going to tell you what, the guy who made the play on that, number 5, Armando Murillo, the cornerback. Now, on that wide receiver screen, watch him turn this back in, but watch how he attacked the receiver. Excuse me, that's West on the play. Watch him attack the receiver here on the outside. See how he jams him? Yeah. He forces him back. He doesn't wait. That's the difference. Now pursuit can come from inside out.
That's what Bo Pelini wanted to do. I mean, you mentioned it earlier in the telecast. He wants his guys to get hands on people. 3rd down and 7 from the 37. Nebraska brings 5. Western Michigan picks it up. Almost picked off. Cody Glenn jumping the route. Great job defensively. Brandon Ledbetter, the intended receiver. What anticipation, though, by Glenn.
To be a great defensive player, you have to anticipate. Again, we're seeing that. Great job on the defense that time, trying to bring pressure. But how about Cody Glenn? He is in the back pocket of everybody. He reads it, and then you see the acceleration I talked about. His recovery speed so big. And watch Bo Pelini. He's going to bring the emotion every time.
Bo liked it, and they're going to have to kick it away. Now it's Paul standing on his 22. He's going to let this thing go. Nope, decides to take it. Gets past the first wave, tiptoes down the sideline, and is finally shoved out of bounds at the Western Michigan 47-yard line. The punter, the redshirt freshman, Ben Armour, stopped the touchdown.
Take a look at Paul on this, and again, I tell you what, I'm not sure he already. I thought that was once you give the fair catch rule, but again, the hands got to be above the head on that rule, so that's the reason why the flag was not thrown. And again, though, if he would have let that ball go and got hit, he also would not have been protected. Hands got to go above the head for the fair catch rule.
And Nebraska with outstanding field position. Castile and Lucky now in the backfield. They split it up. We have seen a number of different formations from this Nebraska offense tonight. Gans was thinking about the option, wisely ate the football. Lucky was being well covered. Good defensive job by Dustin Ducklow.
Yeah, he got upfield on that play. An excellent job on him. And on that redraw, he has quarterback. Take a look on one linebacker here. Coming on the inside on the blitz. He has the first man inside. You saw a corner on the outside. Take the pitch man. But that's a good job by the defensive end, 54, Greg Marshall, driving down inside to give a tight lane for your linebacker to get up inside quick.
Loss of 4 on the play. 2nd down and 14. Just over 8 minutes to play in the half. Gans, no pressure. Lucky over the middle. 1st down to the 35-yard line. Upended by Louis Delmas.
Marvin Lucky. Brought down to the play by number 9, Louis Delmas. 1st and 10, Nebraska.
Another big gain for Nebraska.
Yeah, they're just finding the middle of the field right now. Marlon Lucky just coming across. And I just want to take a look at Marcel Jones, number 78. Look at the right tackle here. You know, one of the hardest things, learning how to pass block. Good angle, good job of getting the hands and sitting in the chair. He's going to play a lot this year. He's got a bright future for him.
Again, Lucky and Castile in the backfield. They run the option. Gans keeps it. Skips over the 30. Loses the football, but I think Nebraska's covered it up. Slauson came up with a loose pigskin.
Tell you what, Joe Gans is very elusive when he runs that option. Yep. His ability to jump back inside. Excellent feet, very good athleticism. Tell you what, you better make sure that if you have him, you better wrap up. Take a look at him. Again, Slauson coming around, and they lose on that. What was that, number 43? What was that for the defensive back? Sorry.
Brandon McCornell, Boston McCornell.
Yeah, Boston McCornell, excuse me, linebacker that time. Better break down better if you want to get Joe Gans down on the ground.
Well, 2nd and short, an ideal situation for this Nebraska offense. Lucky, the only one in the backfield. And we've got a penalty. I think it's going to be delay of game. Play clock was down to 0.
Dead ball foul. False start. Offense, number 78. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
Marcel Jones, the culprit, the redshirt freshman out of Phoenix.
And they were down on the clock, too. And again, we were talking about the 40-second rule now. Now it goes to a 25-second clock. Once they set the ball, they'll begin to wind the clock. Before that, if the play just happens in the field, nothing, no change of possessions or penalties, it goes to a 40-second clock. That's why offenses got to get up to the ball and have at least 18 seconds to go so you can make adjustments.
2nd down and 8 now. Ball is sitting on the 33-yard line. Gans plenty of time again. Winds up, passes complete down to the 25-yard line, and Holt takes his shot, but he's right at the 1st down marker. And Delmas is the one who gave him the denture check.
Yeah, he did, and I'll tell you what, Holt held on that ball. He knew he was going to get hit, but how about the way that ball comes out on a rope by Joe Gans? Getting pressure, stands in, watch him. He's able to deliver the ball. Again, I talked about the right tackle this time. Marcel Jones gets pressure, but Joe Gans will still be able to get rid of the ball, and I like the way the man catches the ball.
That'll leave a mark. Holt's got 3 receptions already tonight. He had 4 all of last year. They gave him the 1st down, so it's 1st and 10, 25 into the flat. Pass is caught by Swift. And he is hog-tied right at the 20-yard line. A pickup of about 4.5 on the play. Biggers on the stop. The senior out of North Miami Beach, Florida.
Joe Gans, too. One of the other things just watching him tonight, improvement of getting away from the center and getting to his drop point and getting his feet set up underneath him. So many times at the college level, quarterbacks forget that. They'll get back away from the center and they don't get their feet underneath them, and then you don't have the proper fundamentals to deliver the football. Joe Gans looking good tonight in terms of fundamental-wise. That's the reason why he's having success throwing the ball.
McNeil in motion, the pitch to Lucky. Nice defensive job. The helmet is lost, but Lucky goes down back at the 27-yard line. That'll be a loss of 8 on the play. Austin Pritchard, the junior from Lebanon, Ohio, who wasn't even expected. They weren't sure how much he was going to play because he had knee surgery after the West Virginia game last year, and he's still been rehabbing. That's a good play.
And I'm going to tell you what, that man right there would have belonged to the tight end, Mike McNeil. You've got second man inside, tackle pulling around, has linebacker inside that time. Got to find your man. And again, running these plays in practice and then doing them live, seeing the people, so many things happen. That's all about timing. Right there, that was the problem in that play.
On 3rd and 11, McNeil again in motion. Gans straight drop, looking, firing, pass incomplete. Tipped at the last second by Louis Delmas. And it was intended for Todd Peterson.
Hey, David, if they run that same play at a different formation, this time, though, he had Mike McNeil, the tight end, wide open on the post pattern behind. Take a look at it. Again, he's getting time in the pocket. I like this. But again, they see the setup. Now he can deliver the ball. And again, he had wide open McNeil on this. I'm not sure. I thought he was going to go to McNeil, so you saw the safety make the jump on that play.
Yeah, this will be a 44-yarder for Alex Henry. Didn't attempt one from this distance last year. Drives the leg through, splits the uprights. With 4:27 left to play in the opening half, the Husker lead goes to 27-7. All right, now Western Michigan has 60 total yards, and considering at one point they were like minus 23, they've tried to put something together offensively, but this Nebraska defense has done a nice job. They've only allowed 80 yards passing, minus 20, though, rushing the football.
And that's what you wanted to see. We were talking about stopping the run. Last year, last in the Big 12, last in the nation. So now looks like they've turned some things around up front.
Well, one of the things we talked about earlier is Bo Pelini loves his quarterback, Joe Gans, the senior out of Illinois. He says he gets it. He's taken coaching. He's everything a head coach could want.
He has a great demeanor about him. He has that sense of confidence and a belief that he's going to get the job done. And when he walks into the huddle, it radiates through that whole group, and they believe in him. It's obvious, and I think he's going to have a great year. I really look forward to him doing some special things.
And he's done some special things now. How about 510 yards versus K-State last season? He is a terrific leader. And talking to him before that Kansas State game last year, Rich, he already had his swagger.
Oh, he did, and he's showing it right now.
Yeah.
And you wondered if he was going to have a slump coming in this year. He has none of that.
Here's Aaron Winchester, the true freshman, turns on the Jets as he goes over the 50, but he is going to be swarmed at the 43-yard line.
I guess one of the things they're going to be discussing at halftime is going to be special teams coverage. Has been a problem so far tonight. We've had some penalties, and again, take a look at Winchester. Coach Cuban talked about his ability, his speed. They need to get him on the field, and here's a guy in special teams trying to make a play, and that's why special teams are so important. It can change the momentum in a heartbeat. Now Western Michigan on the ball on the Nebraska side of the 50-yard line. Now that gives you some confidence you can go out and do some things.
It's a big possession for Western Michigan with just about 4 minutes left to play. They're down by 20. They try to get it on the ground. That's something was a point of emphasis for this year as Pierre Allen stacks up Brandon West. They weren't aggressive, Western Michigan wasn't, on the offensive line last year. Bill Cuban said, we've got to become a little more aggressive on the blocking schemes. We've got to establish a run with Brandon West. If not, our offense, you still have to have a running game, no matter what kind of offense you run.
You know, when the offensive line, you cannot think. You have got to be able to just roll off the football. And a lot of times that comes with guys not really sure, inexperienced. They had changes last year and this year. Looks like they're trying to get some things going.
Those kids are still fighting. You got to hand them that. The running game again. West this time is going to be stacked up. maybe got back to the line of scrimmage. Mukamara is the one who makes the stop.
Now, I'll tell you what, though, it's Sue, number 93. Watch the nose tackle. Watch the penetration. Watch how he gets arm extension. Watch number 93 to the play side. See how he locks out. He's going through the offensive guard instead of just running through a gap. That's the difference that Carl Pelini, the defensive coordinator, talked about. That's what they didn't do last year. That's why they didn't have success stopping the run. They changed. Now they are this year.
3rd down and 6. Julian and Ledbetter wide to the left. Hiller looking straight. Dumps the pass off inside the 35 to the 34-yard line. That'll be short of the 1st down. Nunez did not make his move, though, Rich, after the 1st down line.
Yeah, but he's also got to know where that marker is. It's a zone defense. You've got to still press your route, though. Here he cut it a little bit short.
Yeah.
If you're going to come back to the ball, you got to go past the marker. Not a good job on the receiver that time by Nunez. Know where you're at on the field.
And they're going to have to go for it 4th down. They stack it up. Hiller fakes it. It's got a man wide open. Pass caught to the tight end down to the 12-yard line. Matt Stevens. He sold the fake, and Stevens went untouched down the left side.
Yeah, Matt O'Hanlon, number 33, the free safety, makes a game-saving tackle here. But again, he steps up, he sees the run, and again, this was the same thing that happened before in a touchdown. Both safeties this time. Asante was guilty before. Now O'Hanlon seeing too much of the backfield action. Make sure you know your responsibilities.
1st down and goal from the 10. They hand it off to Winchester. He is stuffed up at the 7-yard line, maybe the 8. Cody Glenn again in on the tackle. This is where the yards get tough because this is not a great offensive line for Western Michigan.
You know, Ron, I'm going to make it easy. Just after every defense play, just say Cody Glenn. Cody Glenn. But the reason why he could scrape down the line of scrimmage that time, Cody Glenn, excellent job by the defensive line, controlling the offensive lineman in front of you. Don't get moved off the line of scrimmage. Now your linebacker has free run to the ball.
Nunez wide to the left. They go in a split backfield. 2nd down and goal from the 8. Hiller keeps it, looks for the pitch, gets it to West, looks for the corner, puts his head down, knocked out of bounds at about the 2-yard line, maybe the 1.5 yards. I'll tell you, he's got a nice little change of speed. He does that little hesitation, Brandon West does, and that got him an extra 2 or 3 yards.
He did, but I'll tell you, number 4, Asante, doing a good job of filling. You can see corner support. Now we're running the option. Linebacker steps up. You see the crack, but watch Asante come up and fill for his corner. Good job at the safety position.
Hiller looking for Pater. It's got his tight end, overthrows him. Intended for Ledbetter. That'll bring up a 4th down and goal with 1:19 left to play in the half.
You know, right now there's been some mistakes. You know, the secondary, the graduation of Green and Grigsby last year. We had some young guys, and they're making some mistakes. But the one thing you're seeing at this secondary for Nebraska is they've got great closing speed.
Well, Tim Belize is going to be the holder. They'll spot it at the 9-yard line, a 19-yarder for true freshman John Potter out of Grand Haven, Michigan. Good snap, good hold. And the kick is good, so John Potter gets his first field goal of his collegiate career with 1:15 left to play in the opening half. The Nebraska lead cut down to 17 at 27-10. Here's a look at older brother Carl Pelini. Now, this is a guy that's got an incredible story because you have to remember, Nebraska fans, back in 2003, he was a fairly successful high school football coach back in Ohio, in a place called Austintown, Ohio. He decided to take a graduate assistant's job here at Nebraska because, of course, Bo was here. The salary was a whopping $12,000 a year. Of course, Frank Solich leaves after that year, so he goes to Minnesota State, then joins Frank Solich as the defensive line coach at Ohio U, spends 3 years there, and now he comes here as defensive coordinator. I asked him yesterday, do you think about the chance you took of becoming a graduate assistant with a wife and kids? He goes, I think about it all the time. He never takes it for granted.
No, he doesn't. And I'll tell you what, he has so much respect for his brother and what he's done. And to be able to come here to Nebraska, you can see the emotion coming through him when he was talking to us. And one of the things he said we have to do in defense is create opportunities to get off the field. Well, they gave up a field goal, and the reason why they could do that is they stopped that pitch going in for a touchdown. So again, defensive red zone, field goals, but not touchdowns. Improvement for the defense tonight.
And kicking into the win, it's going to be Western Michigan, and this is going to be a short kick.
That's a good return.
Gillian Up over the 35, dancing around, still on his feet, crosses the 40, and will mark him out of bounds at about the 41-yard line. Jay Biggers on the stop. You know, but getting back to Carl Pelini, this is a guy that understands everything, too. He understands what it takes. He understands the emotion of Bo and the tradition of Nebraska. And he also understands family. And that's one thing he talked extensively to us about yesterday.
Yeah, both him, Carl and Bo, how important. But you know what, that thing about the whole idea about family, it transcends to the team that everybody's important.
And of course, Carl used to be the lead blocker for Bo in the backyard football games back in Youngstown, Ohio. It sounded like they were pretty brutal games, too, when they were describing it to you yesterday.
About some of those things I was wondering.
The older brothers kind of picked on Bo, though. I got that feeling.
He was the best athlete of them all, and you know that's what he wants here with his players in Nebraska. We'll talk about that too, how they've changed in terms of training, being better football players, not better weightlifters.
Well, the Huskers have 68 seconds to work with. Gans chased from behind, looking, still looking, holds on to the football, fires complete. Inside the 40 down to the 38-yard line. Holt on the reception.
Now, how about the speed of Joe Gans, able to outrun the defensive lineman that time. Number 98, defensive tackle Corey Flom from the middle, who gets penetration. And here he comes on the outside. That was Zach Davidson, number 90, the defensive end. But again, Joe Gans making a play.
Holt 4 receptions. That's what he had all of last year. Gans, dangerous pass. That's going to be pass interference. Pass was intended for Holt. Biggers on the coverage. Holt had 4 inches on Biggers, so Biggers decided to climb up the ladder.
There's going to be a pass interference on that, but again, you're seeing the confidence of Joe Gans going to his receiver, Holt, putting the ball.
Pass interference. Defense, number 1. 15-yard penalty, automatic. First down.
Take a look at Biggers on the coverage. He step for step, and he tries, and I'll tell you what, he doesn't need to run into the receiver. He was beat a little bit. Find the football. Go find the football. He doesn't. And instead, he would go up for the ball. It would be pass interference. Instead, he went through the receiver.
And that sets up a 1st and 10 on the 24-yard line. 50 seconds left in the half. Western Michigan brings a couple. Pass off the hands of Peterson. It's covered by London Fryer on the play.
Yeah, Joe Gans that time just a little bit too much on that football, that underneath. Kind of makes just touch pass. He's got to lay it out there for your receiver. He's coming across the middle. Let him catch the ball and then make a play.
46 seconds left in the half. Gans on the evening. 14 of 21, 206 yards, 2 touchdowns. His longest was 61.
Another quarterback in the Big 12.
Oh, exactly.
Just continues the list of quarterbacks.
Top to bottom. McNeil in motion. Straight drop, no pressure. Now Gans sees a little bit. Still going, throws across his body. Pass is caught inside the 5, down to the 2-yard line. Nate Swift. That is his 3rd reception of the night. Talk about a tough throw by Gans.
And you got to talk. How about this offensive line? How about this freshman, Marcel Jones? Excellent job giving you a chance for your quarterback to be able to roll outside, and then the patch on the sidelines, walking the tightrope. Number 87, Nate Swift. How about the touch on that pass that time? Just laying it out for him.
Well, Swift has been a key guy in the passing game since 2005 when he broke onto the scene as a freshman. 1st and goal from the 2. 37 seconds left in the half. 3-step drop, throwing it in the flat, looking, touchdown Nebraska. Nate Swift, 2nd of the ball game.
Able to get separation against E.J. Biggers, number 1 that time. Again, just working on him. And number 87, Nate Swift. Great concentration. And again, how about the touch by Joe Gans? Throwing it over the top, putting some air underneath it. Come underneath it. Number 87 for the nice touchdown. Take a look at it. Time up top. Had time in the pocket, but look how he just delivers it. Puts it right over the top. And excuse me on that one. That was Louis DeLomas, the free safety that time he got beat.
The extra point by Henry. And it is good. 32 seconds left to play in the ball game. The lead has been stretched to 34-10. But the man of the hour is Nate Swift. He had 3 touchdown receptions last year. This year, he already has 2, and he's played less than half a game.
And right now, Western Michigan has no answer for the speed and the ability of these wide receivers for Nebraska. Nate Swift, Todd Peterson, their ability to separate, but also the concentration on the ball. Once the ball is up in the air, see it all the way through to your hands. That's why they're making some great catches.
3 touchdown catches for Joe Gans. And when you mentioned the great quarterbacks in the Big 12, and there are a slew of them, his name's got to be right in the mix. Of course, you have Graham Harrell of Texas Tech, what he did. Chase Daniel finished 4th in the Heisman voting. Todd Reesing, an incredible year for Mark Mangino at Kansas. Josh Freeman, we're still waiting for him to do even more. He is a huge, big young man. Colt McCoy of Texas had a rough year last season. They've tried to redo their offense just a little bit to give him more time. Sam Bradford sets a record as a freshman down in Oklahoma. And of course, Cody Hawkins, the coach's son. And I tell you, look at those numbers. You think, gee, what if Joe Gans played the entire year? How would that have played out?
You're just seeing Gans on the sideline, but I'll tell you what, how about Todd Reesing? He's the smallest of them all. What is about 5'9", and his ability to run around the field and still make the deep throws is quite amazing.
Zach Robinson having a big game for Oklahoma State today, another sophomore. Kicking with the wind again, and this is an end over end. It'll be Brandon West, 2 yards deep. He brings it out, straight ahead running. Spins away, gets over the 20 up to the 22-yard line. Matt O'Hanlon in on the stop. 25 seconds left in the half. Nebraska back on defense.
And they've done a great job in terms of stopping the run, and I like what Bo Pelini has done in terms of what he's called on the defense. One of the things he mentioned at the media day, he goes, to be able to stop the spread, you've got to bring the blitz, and you've got to change up coverage, and they have done that. Played great aggressive football. And how about Cody Hawkins at the linebacker?
So right now, Western Michigan has more yards on the return game than they do offensively. This time, Ty Steinkuhler stops Brandon West. In fact, coming into that play, Western Michigan only 102 yards.
Yeah, again, I like the way Ty Steinkuhler is playing, going through the guard's shoulder, not running to a gap to get separation to make the play.
Well, he's finally healthy. That helps too, because Ty Steinkuhler, of course, hurt his knee in the opening game last season. He still was quick off the ball, but Nebraska 14 in the first quarter, 20 in the second. Western Michigan tried to answer with 10 of their own in the second quarter, but Bo Pelini's defense has been absolutely outstanding, holding Western Michigan to 102 yards total offense as Pelini makes his way over to our Stacy Page. Stacy, you're with the coach.
Well, Coach, first half under your belt now. What are some things that goals that you met?
Well, we like to score, but we don't like some of the things that happened. We lost our composure a couple times, had some mistakes, had some penalties, and made too many unforced errors on defense, and especially towards in the second quarter. But overall, not bad. But we need to make a lot of improvement in the second half.
How'd it feel to get the lead right away?
Well, it feels good. You know, offense is moving the ball well, and they're kind of in a rhythm. And we started fast on defense, but we still got a whole half to play.
Thanks for stopping.
Thank you.
All right, Coach.
All right, Stacy, for this Nebraska offense, 280 yards. They kept the ball for over 16 and a half minutes, 3 of 6 on third down. But the important number for Bo Pelini and Bill Cubit on the scoreboard. Nebraska leads at 34-10. Halftime activity straight ahead. We welcome you back to Lincoln, Nebraska, as the capacity crowd enjoying themselves today as they open up the season against Western Michigan. And joining me, a man that's very familiar to Nebraska fans and right here at Memorial Stadium, former head coach Tom Osborne, now athletic director. Coach, good to see you. When you took over, what was the deciding factor of saying, yes, I want to come back as the athletic director of this school?
Well, the chancellor called me, and I had no inkling that he was going to make a change in the athletic directorship. And so I thought about it, and I kind of got my life arranged where I had a little slack time, and my wife kind of appreciated that. But we felt Nebraska athletics was really important to the state. We could see some division in the state, and so I said, okay, I'll come back and give it a shot. And so it's been a good thing. We've enjoyed it. And really didn't want to make a change in coaches, but I thought probably we needed to do that. So we've been pleased so far with what Bo Pelini has done, and of course we have 22 other sports, and they're doing well too. So it's been very interesting.
When they appealed you to come back as athletic director, did they appeal to your brain or your heart?
Well, I'm sure it was mostly to your heart. And as I said, this has been an exceptionally unified state. You only have one major college football program, only one major athletic program in the state. And so we've had almost undivided allegiance and loyalty from all of our fans for years and years and years, going back to the 1950s, 1960s. And so when you began to see some of that starting to fragment, it was certainly a concern. And I'm not saying we got everybody back on board and everybody's happy, but I think for the most part, things have certainly settled down.
Well, when we talked to Coach Pelini yesterday, one of the things he mentioned to us and was very, very open about it was the open door policy with you, that he makes sure that he truly understands the Nebraska tradition. How important is it not only to understand it, but also embrace it as a head football coach?
Well, I think one of the really intelligent things that Bob Stoops did when he went to Oklahoma was, instead of trying to create a new environment and a new culture, he pretty much embraced the tradition that had been there for a long time and used that as a springboard. And I think Bo understands that too. Of course, he was here in 2003, and that enabled him to have some feel for the place and the fans. And then, of course, he hired some coaches who had been with him at that time, who had been here a long time, either as players or coaches, in Ron Brown and also Marvin Sanders and Barney Cotton. So as a result, I think he's done a real nice job of putting together a staff that brings in some young guys that were at LSU with him and some guys who were on the staff previously with Coach Callahan, and then some guys that had been here before as coaches and players. And as a result, I think there's a pretty good understanding of the culture. And of course, Bo has to create his own culture to some degree, but I think he's trying to build on the past as well.
One final question, Coach. So many of us and so many of the world, they define success with wins and losses. Do you define success with wins and losses for Bo Pelini in this first year?
Well, I never did, which was kind of disconcerting to many of our fans. I ran across something John Wooden wrote many years ago. He quoted Cervantes, and Cervantes said the journey is more important than the end. And so what he was saying is the process, how you play, how you do things, how you prepare, the drill work, the fundamentals, the character development. Those are things that you can work on, and you can do them every day. You can't always control an official's call. You can't always control the bounce of the football or an injury. But if you do things the right way and you do them with intensity and you do them over time, the whole thing takes care of itself. And I think Bo has often talked about process too. And so we may have a great year and not lose very many games at all, or it may be a struggle. But I think that we'll do it the right way.
All right, Coach, good seeing you again.
Okay.
Hope to see you the next couple of weeks. Head Coach Tom Osborne, from years past, one of the icons here in Nebraska history. We'll step aside. More halftime activities coming your way from Memorial Stadium right after this.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Lincoln, Nebraska. Glad to have you with us. All Nebraska so far in the first half, 34-10, and a couple gentlemen who are with me now, the 1994 National Championship team, Aaron Graham, Brendan Stye, were on that team on the line. And guys, when you look at how the program has been the last couple of years, I know that you're both local guys, you pay very close attention to this program. What was it like for you to see them struggle?
Obviously, as former players, it was very difficult for us. Certainly we're excited about the changes that have taken place, and obviously we're off to a good start so far. Couldn't be happier, and hopefully we'll keep it rolling.
Brendan, when you look at this team also trying to come back into its own, the defense is trying to make a name for itself. They want to be a championship team like you all were in 1994. What's it going to take to get back there?
It starts really with the hard work you put in the offseason, and I think Bo and his staff has done a tremendous job in getting these guys prepared. When you look at it at an overall picture, you want to see improvement, and I think what they're doing, obviously coming out strong today, we've got that, and just you got to build on it every week.
Are there any players that have surprised you so far in this first half?
Well, I'm real surprised with Cody Glenn. That guy's an athlete, flying around, just making a lot of plays. I'm real impressed with Joey Gans. I think he's going to be one of those players as the season goes along on the national picture. He's going to come into play.
And guys, I spoke to you both about having your sons play at Nebraska. What a joy that would be if they could come back and play here like their daddies did. And I want to share that with everyone at home. What was that story?
Brendan and I both have two. We have several children. Brendan has 3 and I have 3, but 2 of our boys had an opportunity to come back to the NU summer football camp together, and they roomed together at the dormitory. And so the Sty and Graham combination was back here this past summer, and we obviously were proud as heck of those guys. And whatever happens with them, that's great. We're supporting them, but it'd be awesome, obviously, to see them someday get the chance to play and experience what we had a chance to experience here.
So the legacy continued this summer.
I hope so.
You know, also, guys, thank you so much for being here. I know supporting this team is very, very important. We appreciate your stopping.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming.
All right. Enjoy the rest of the game.
Appreciate it. Thank
you.
All
right. We'll be back right after this. Stay with us from Lincoln, Nebraska.
Sellout crowd of over 84,000, 84,485 to be exact. Right now the Huskers lead at 34-10 along with Rich Baldinger. I'm Ron Thulin. I think there's a couple of things that stand out. Number one, you cannot overestimate and oversimplify what this atmosphere has been like. At the start of the game when we saw them walk through the tunnel, it was absolutely electric here, but that carried over as Nebraska went up to a 14-0 lead to start the game.
And the one thing that you can't forget about in the college level is coaching. And now you can see why Bo Pelini has done what he has done in so many locations. Tonight, what he has called on the defensive side of the ball has been remarkable. Western Michigan has no answer for it. I think Bo's bringing people from the hot dog stand out in the field to get them rushing. But it's doing a great job. They've kept them off balance all night.
Well, especially defensively, because Bo seems to be, and his brother Carl seem to be switching things an awful lot. A couple of great performances. Cody Glenn, obviously, Ty Steinkuhler, both with 6 tackles. Steinkuhler only had 13 total tackles all of last season, so they're getting some standout performances on D.
Yeah, and one of the things I was looking at tonight is I wanted to see the defensive line up front. What would they do against the run? How would they handle it? And what I'm seeing is a much more aggressive at the point of attack. They're also getting their hands up, and also the blitzes. So many different combinations. You cannot get a pre-snap read on it, and that's what's made Bo Pelini so effective as a defensive coordinator. He's going to keep you guessing, but the guys up front, though, I'm seeing much better techniques. We watched Sue on the sack, just much better at the point of attack. And again, how about Cody Glenn? We called his name after every play. Former tailback, understands and he anticipates, he sees things before it happens. I'll tell you what, he's going to be a difference maker because when you go to dime and nickel, you can leave him at linebacker. He can cover a lot of ground.
What it does is it opens up more defenses for Bo and Carl Pelini right now. Just what we saw in that first half. What they can do now expands.
The combinations, and you're seeing a much more aggressive, you're seeing passion. And what was one of the things that Bo told us when I asked him about the defense? What do you want to see? He goes, I want to see a defense that's flying around, and that's what he's seeing tonight.
Well, we're going to take a break. You saw some defensive stats and highlights. We're going to take a break and come back with the offense. Offensive highlights, offensive numbers, part of the 84,000 on hand tonight. They like what they see. Their team leads 34-10 at halftime. Well, he knows what it feels like to be a Husker. He is aptly adorned as his Huskers lead 34-10. Rich Baldinger, Ron Thulin with you up in the press box. So we talked about the defense. The first thing that stands out offensively is the job Joe Gans is doing. You made a great point. He's managing the game right now.
Yeah, and it's more about managing the game. His speed on the outside. It's one thing if you can be mobile, but when he breaks contain, he can run out of the defensive clutches. So now as a defensive coordinator, you're going to have to spy this guy. You're going to have to put a linebacker or a defensive back to solely watch him. So now you're going to get single coverage on the outside. It opens up so many things for the offense.
Oh, Gans is also the leading rusher. Let's take a look how each team scored. Of course, in that first quarter, Nebraska jumped out to a 14-0 lead. And he gets some good blocking. Marlon Lucky, great job on this play.
Good patience on the sweep. That's what you need. And again, one of the things we saw in practice yesterday, did a good job tonight.
Good selling the fake. McNeil open for the touchdown.
Exactly. Fundamentals, hiding the football, go following through with your fakes. And again, these are some of the things that opens up so many different looks.
But then Tim Hiller takes a shot, but he's able to hit his tight end, Ledbetter, for the score. And they finally get on the board. But Nebraska answers back.
And again, tonight, what I'm seeing from Joe Gans, not only in the pocket, but how about on the outside, Nate Swift, Todd Peterson, but Joe Gans' ability to throw on the run was really improved.
And yet another touchdown. Again, Nate Swift, his second of the ball game. And you take a look at the numbers. The rushing yards for Western Michigan, not good. Only 50 for Nebraska. I asked you about that, and you said?
I'm not worried about it. I say 230 yards passing. I see a quarterback that's firing on all cylinders.
Well, let's send it down to the field. Here's Stacy.
Ron, thank you very much, Coach Cubitt. When you look back at that first half, now you're starting the second one. The first drive, always very important in the second half, no matter what the scoreboard says. Aside from scoring, what are you looking to achieve early?
Really going back to the fundamentals. I mean, we fumbled the ball. We had another short touchdown. We dropped the ball, and just little things like that. We just got to get back to fundamentals. Just keep chopping away, and we'll just see what happens there. But I think our kids will play hard, and that's what I'm looking for: effort and fundamentals.
And what did you say to them in the locker room?
Same thing. You know, just be smart. We got a lot of young kids are out there playing in certain key situations. The first time out there, and just keep plugging along. And it's a long second half.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
All right. As they prepare for the second half, we're going to break away from Lincoln, Nebraska. Stay with us. We'll have more right after this.
The last time Nebraska lost an opening game, it was 17-13 to Florida State back in 1985. Since that time, they've won 22 straight, all 22 by 10 or more points, and they've scored 40 or more points in 15 of those 22 games.
And the one difference so far that you're seeing is a defense that has come out and set the tempo tonight, which they didn't do last year.
A line drive, low kick, and they'll let it go out of the end zone. So Western Michigan will take over 1st and 10 from their own 20. Just picking up what Bill Cubitt was telling Stacy at the end of halftime there. One thing about this team, you look at Western Michigan on tape. Bill Cubitt teaches his players to keep fighting. And one of the things we talked about not only Wednesday but this morning was getting back to fundamentals. He said, listen, we are overmatched here. Absolutely. Nebraska's a great team. They've got the great crowd. Our kids cannot get away from the fundamentals of football. And he has preached that, and that's going to serve him well in the MAC.
And I will tell you what, in the running game, the big guys up front got to tee off. Just come off and hit somebody. Get a hat-on hat and bring your feet. You'll be okay.
Well, Tim Hiller still back at quarterback. This time they'll try a little ground game. West dancing around, takes a couple of hits. He's going nowhere. Look who's there again. 34, Cody Glenn. His 7th tackle already in the ball game.
How about number 43, Ty Steinkuhler? His ability, again, I'm talking about. Let's watch him at the point of attack. Watch number 43. Watch the arms lock out, the rip. He's going through the guard's shoulder. Now you're controlling the point of attack, playing on the offensive side of the ball. And guess what? Gang tackling. You didn't see this last year at Nebraska. You're seeing some emotion tonight, and that's what Bo Pelini wants out of his boys.
Well, he lost 3 on the play. 2nd down and 13 from the 17. Tim Hiller from the shotgun. Very little pressure. Has a man open at the 20 up to the 25-yard line. Is Schneider Julian, the senior out of Miami, Florida, Foothill Community College. Larry Asante coming up from that strong safety spot to make the stop. That's some of the decisions that Hiller makes that are good. He has to get them into good plays, and that was a great case for this guy there.
Yeah, he did. And that time he got some time in the pocket, delivered the football. But just watching Cody Glenn, I'll tell you what, his pre-snap read, I think he's got the playbook of Western Michigan down right now.
2 tight end situation. Hiller out on the flat over the 30 up to the 31-yard line. Again, he goes to his tight end, Brandon Ledbetter. And Ledbetter comes up with his 3rd catch of the ball game.
You know, we had a chance to take a look at some stats, and we were talking about that. Let's just take a look at the play again. Good pass rush, and again, a contact using the sidelines. Prince Akumara doing an excellent job getting his head across. Contact, that's what Bo wants. Contact on every play.
1st down and 10 from the 31. On the option, Hiller has a little opening, slips through it over the 35, up to about the 38-yard line. Zach Potter, the senior from Omaha, Creighton Prep on the stop.
And Hiller make a nice play, because I'm going to tell you who jumped outside on that. 34, Cody Glenn. He read that option, got outside to take the pitch man. I think he had to stay inside of the quarterback, but that time Hiller read that, got back inside to get some positive yards.
Now this Cody Glenn, he was banged up last year, leg and foot injuries, but since that change over to defense, he has absorbed it. Pickup of 5 on the play, 2nd and 5. Hiller just picks up and throws it out of the flat. Ledbetter tries to outrun the defense. Not today. may have picked up a yard on the play. Asante, the junior from Alexandria, Virginia, closing fast along with Tyler Wortman.
Yeah, Tyler Wortman, but I'm going to tell you what, 84 Matt Stevens, the tight end, he's got to do a better job. You've got to be able to make that block. He doesn't. He lets Tyler Wortman just come underneath. Get a hat-on-hat. You don't have to knock somebody down, but just sustain a block. Listen, that's what team football is all about. Help your buddy out. That time, Matt Stevens failed on the block, and that's why the play didn't make any yardage.
3rd down and 3. Western Michigan only 2 of 7 in this situation. Now West to the near side, empty backfield. Nebraska brings 4. Hiller feels the pressure, tries to dump it off. Again, Cody Glenn jumping the route. West had no shot.
And that time they're in the nickel defense, and they just walk Cody Glenn outside, and he's on the wide receiver. But his ability to close on the ball, take a look at it. Hillard has some time, and there's Cody Glenn again. And look at him. He step for step with West that time. Hand inside, an excellent job of coming across with the left hand, be able to knock the ball away, and thereby he doesn't run into the back and get interference.
Ben Arbor, the redshirt freshman out of Janesville, Wisconsin, back to kick. It'll be his 4th punt, averaged 35 yards in the first half. And we've got some whistles and possibly a timeout. Nope, delay of game.
40-second clock down. We've had a couple tonight. And that's going to make a difference in the game.
And Bill Cubitt talking to his quarterback. One of the things Bill Cubitt did is his son Ryan Cubitt, who was a star quarterback for Western Michigan, is now part of his staff, and he has got a very special relationship with Tim Hiller. He says it's able to clear up some of the communication problems they had with the team last year. Armour's kick is a low one. Swift from the 32, steps away from one, looking for the wall. Not going to find it. Gets to the 35-yard line. A return of about 3 on the play.
Matt Stevens.
And that's where Nebraska will take over. Next Saturday, 11:30. Don't forget, we'll be right back here on pay-per-view. San Jose State pays a visit. Dick Tomey, former assistant coach with the University of Texas, had a successful year 2 years ago at San Jose. Kind of stubbed their toe last year. So they will play at 11:30. Call your cable or satellite provider or visit Huskers.com for more information.
Well, here about number 5, Lucky.
Coming out of the WAC. Again, it'll be another good test for Nebraska in terms of working against that spread offense, and it gets you ready because right down the line you've got Missouri, you've got Kansas coming, so you're going to see it, but this is a good test for their defense.
And don't forget Hal Mummy comes in a couple of weeks too with New Mexico State. They'll be winging the ball all over the place. Pickup of 3 on the last play, 2nd and 7 from the 38. The handoff. Lucky's got some running room, tries to turn the corner, puts the stiff arm up on E.J. Biggers, who runs him out of bounds. 8 home games for Nebraska this year. The first 5 are at home. But you look at them, the first 3 offenses are obviously pretty potent. Western Michigan, the spread, San Jose State, New Mexico State. Then you got a conventional offense. Virginia Tech, an upset loser today to East Carolina.
I'm going to tell you what, if they are undefeated, I don't know when Missouri comes, if they're undefeated, Nebraska at that time, you might not be able to get within 500 miles of Lincoln. There'll be so many people here.
That party will start on, what, Monday?
Yes, sir.
Prior to. Gans picks up, throws out on the flat, passes complete to Holt. Gets one block. Still on his feet, leans to the 40, but I think the key on that play, just the blocking of the wide receivers. Niles Paul, number 24, did a nice job of just trying to seal that off.
Yeah, on the outside, but I'm going to tell you, it all starts also, too, in the backfield motion. It's a read look. They look like it's going to go underneath the Lucky, but he comes out with the wide receiver screen. And again, you see the block on the outside by Swift, 87. Also now Paul on the good block. Holt's able to get the first down.
And it's 1st and 10 from the 41. 10.5 to play here in quarter number 3. Lucky and Castile now in the split backfield. Again, another formation. The fake, or Lucky's got it. Breaks through into the secondary, down to the 30-yard line, another first down.
And what's happening now is with you have this mobility of the quarterback, of Joe Gans, and the read look, linebackers are not going to step as quick. They're going to hang. And again, nobody on the inside. They play to the backside. Number 91, Grant Nemeth, could not get there. Look at the blocks on the inside. You got the cut block. Now that's all Marlon Lucky needs. Good job by the left guard that time was that Mike Huff, number 61, able to get defensive tackle on the ground.
Well, you saw the middle linebacker, Duclos, who kind of hesitated, want to make sure Gans didn't have the football. Keeping it on the ground. Lucky over the right side, inside the 25, down to the 24-yard line. So Lucky getting a lot more carries here in the second half than he did the first half. Greg Marshall, the senior from Portage, Michigan, coming up to make the stop from that defensive end spot.
And again, we were talking about quarterback mobility. Once you get that, what you have now at the defense is instead of them attacking, they're sitting and reading and reacting, makes them a step slow. Now they're guessing. They don't know where to go. They're just guessing. Now that flies right in the hands of the offense.
Lucky already 4 rushes here in the second half. He had 6 in the first half. Second down and 5. This time, Lucky is hit, tries to stay on his feet, and he's going to lose a couple on the play. Zach Davidson, one of the defensive ends they are really counting at for Western Michigan, comes up to make the first hit.
He had Zach Davidson this time crash, and I'm going to tell you what, this was a miscommunication this time, and what he has to do is quarterback's got to keep it. When they closed that time, that was Greg Marshall, defensive end, number 54, actually closed. And on that quarterback read, defense end closes for the back. You keep the ball out the backside. They had miscommunication, didn't get it done that time.
On 3rd and 7. No rush. Gans plenty of time, has to dump it off to the safety valve, and Lucky cannot hold on to it. Did a nice job of looking off the receivers right and left. Just couldn't get it into the hands of Lucky.
I'll tell you what, he's had a tea party back there all day. He's had so much time. Good job looking down the field, looking people off. Now he's going to look for Lucky just coming out of the backfield. And again, that throw, take a look at it on the outside. This is Drew Young, number 49. But again, what he's thinking right now, Joe Gans, get the ball out of my hands. The quick count, no, I don't see it deep. I'm going to hit my check down.
This is going to be a 45-yard field goal attempt for Henry. Ball's down with the wind, the kick, and he's got his 3rd of the ball game. A couple of from 44 and another one from 45, and Nebraska's lead goes to 37-10. 8:23 left to play in the 3rd. 8 minutes and 23 seconds left to be played in the 3rd quarter. Glad you're with us this evening as the Huskers lead at 37-10. Just a reminder, next week also pay-per-view. 11:30 is the kickoff. Joe Gans 1 of 2 on that drive passing the football. He's now 17 of 25, 241 yards, 3 touchdown passes.
And he'll continue. The only thing we're seeing tonight is maybe some of those check down passes.
Yeah.
A little bit too hard on the ball. It's been behind Lucky a couple times. That's where you continue to work on the timing and getting things ready for this year.
Unalak with that strong leg with the wind, and he splits the uprights. Western Michigan will take over on their own 20-yard line.
Give him 3.
He's got such leg speed when you watch him kick. Now let's see if Western Michigan puts something together here in quarter number 3. Well, the governor of Nebraska is here. He seems to like it. Dave Heineman. The Honorable Dave Heineman, the governor of Nebraska. Does anybody know there was a convention last week? I think most people were more worried about this game than they were about the convention.
I think that's why they delayed the Republican convention to get this game over with first.
Yeah. Hiller back to pass, going deep down the middle, has his tight end Brandon Ledbetter. Splitting double coverage down to the 30-yard line.
Yeah, he got right in between Asante and also that time Cody Glenn, number 34, the linebacker. Better getting down the field again. This time Hiller gets some time in the pocket and he delivers a strike, gets some air underneath it on that post pattern. And I'm not sure where Asante was going on this, because I'm going to tell you what, Cody Glenn is expecting safety help over the top. And if you're going to look for one receiver to bracket, it would have to be Ledbetter.
And that covers 50 yards. Now Hiller's got some room to work. Dumps it off in the flat. Passes complete down to the 25-yard line. Schneider-Julian picks up 5 on the play.
And if you look at right now, some negatives, and even Bo talked about that going into the sidelines as he goes, we made some unforced errors on defense, in a sense, blown coverages, not exactly being in the right spots, but this is a young secondary for Nebraska, so you're going to expect some of those mistakes, but at least now you're getting a chance. They're going to be able to see what they're doing wrong, but overall, I like the speed, though, in the secondary.
2nd down and 5 from the 25. No pressure. Hiller steps up in the pocket, gets down to the 22-yard line before Eric Haig brings him down. Pickup of 3 on the play. And then bring up a 3rd down and about 2.
They're playing nickel that time, and they just bracketed West coming out of the backfield. Take a look at that. Cody Glenn underneath, and also Philip Dillard. He's over on top. There was no check down, so with Dillard's got to do the best thing. Get out of the pocket, get down on the ground.
And Carl Pelini saying, come on, guys. You got to know where you're supposed to be.
Defensive red zone. Let's see if they can hold them to field goals.
Play clock at 5. Just gets the snap off. Hiller has some time into the flat to West. And he's got the 1st down inside the 20-yard line. They'll mark it at the 18.
Yeah, a little zone blitz that time. He had Ty Stunkulo, number 43, dropping out. And he's trying to be on covers with Brandon West. And that's a little bit of a mismatch. Big man. Father was a great football player, but here he is. See him drop. He's dropping off, and he's in coverage too. And that's a little bit of mismatch. This defensive lineman, when they can't hold or anything like that.
Yeah.
Trouble. That's an offensive lineman talking, folks. I'm
there
sorry.
You go. 81 yards in the 2nd half for Western Michigan. They had only 102 in the 1st half. Hiller deep into the flat to West again. Oh, what a move! Inside the 10, 5, looks for Pater, comes up short. What a move by Brandon West.
I'll tell you what, Cody Glenn right now is in a different state. He came across so quick. And as a former tailback, he's got to understand to use the sidelines as your friend. He over pursues. Take a look at it. Both him and Asante, poor angles. West just kind of broke it down. And tell you what a job in terms of seeing the pursuit. Now turning around, getting upfield.
That's why he's 1st team all-conference. Penalty flags are thrown. Players are signaling touchdown. Now the official does. But we have a bunch of laundry on the field.
I'm not sure if Western Michigan was set.
Well, they're going to have to talk about it. Nick Mitchell getting right in the middle there for Western Michigan. Here's the call.
Illegal substitution. Defense. Penalties declined. Touchdown.
So Western Michigan does get on the board. Let's take a look at it again.
Yeah, just power straight ahead. And they got some movement at the point of attack that time. Low man wins when you're down on in the goal line. Take your man somewhere. Bring your feet behind you. That time at the point of attack, Clemens, Rob Johnson, Mitchell the center, all got good movement.
Belize holding the football. John Potter for the extra point. And it is good. Impressive drive keyed by the 50-yard pass from Hiller to his tight end Brandon Ledbetter. And Western Michigan has closed it to 37-17. Now Carl Pelini is going to be talking to his troops. We were talking during the break about that, about the fact that Ledbetter seemed to split double coverage, but you have a further explanation on what happened, not only that play, but during that whole drive.
Yeah, and this is the key play, the big 50-yard pass to the tight end Ledbetter. But I'm going to tell you what, Cody Glenn is playing inside. He wants a bracket. He's looking for safety help, Asante over the top. Now, that's the one thing as a safety. As we go back to Carl and take a look at it, and he's talking on people as we see Ledbetter on the sidelines. That's where he's got to be smart enough to know which receiver on that side he's got to help out. And if there's two guys, Ledbetter, one of the top receivers for the team for Western Michigan, I'm going to look to sit in the middle and keep my eyes there first. That's what Cody Glenn was expecting. He didn't get the help, and that's the reason why he was able to split coverage that time.
Once again, they talk about being focused. That's the word that Bo Pelini has used since he took over this program back in December. Knowing the scheme and staying focused.
Yeah, and that cover two, you've got to be over the top. Linebackers are expecting that help.
Kicking against the wind. The This will be Niles Paul. Splits the defense over the 20. They're hanging on to him as he gets up to the 25-yard line. Let's see if this Husker offense can answer the Western Michigan touchdown. Paul's had a nice job tonight.
Good job of returning the ball. The kicks have been short, of course, going into the win. But again, the offense there in the last drive for Nebraska, mixing up the run and the pass. And again, the mobility of Joe Gans coming out of the pocket. It's another dimension. Forces defenses now. You know what? I've got to look at Joe Gans as a running back, just not a mobile quarterback.
Now Marlon Lucky out, Helu and Castile in. These are two dynamic sophomores. Gans looks, hesitates, nice patience. He saw the quarterback coming up, Biggers coming up, so he kind of held on to it. Kerensky Gillian was the intended receiver, and we've got a Nebraska player down at the 20-yard line.
Yeah, Kerensky Gillian, 10-2.
Looks like Mike Huff. Yeah, Huff is down. Western Michigan trainer coming out.
Looks like it might be a cramp. He got up off the ground walking away. That's a good sight to see. A little humid down on the field tonight.
Now Keith Williams is going to come in, a sophomore from Florissant, Missouri. Let's see what happens. He might have gotten rolled up a little bit.
I think you are correct. Let's take a look at it again. See Mike Huff, number 61, play action. Yeah, he did.
Oh.
Here's number 67. It's actually a defensive tackle. Yeah, he rolled up on him there.
Well, second down at 10 of the 25, inside of 6 minutes to play in the third quarter.
That's why in the trenches, you got to keep those feet going. Keep running. Can't stop because there's always bodies flying around.
Only scoring here in the second half so far, the touchdown by Western Michigan. Holt on the near side. Couple of tight ends. Gans hands it off. Right side. Helu gets maybe a couple of yards. We'll give him 4 on the play. The sophomore from Danville, California. This is a young runner. He is 6 foot, 215 pounds. He had a solid spring. The coach is telling us what a tough runner he is.
Yeah, just take a look at the replay. Zone blocking, Matt Slauson, and how about the rookie tackle? Excuse me, freshman Marcel Jones comes off on the linebacker. Defense end crashes. That's zone blocking. Blocking area. He came off on the linebacker. Dustin Duclos, number 59. That's why a nice hole opened up for the tailback.
And third down and 6. Nebraska 3 of 7 on third down tonight. Now they empty the backfield. 5-step drop. Gans looks, hit as he throws, incomplete. He did have pressure, however. Somebody was hanging on his backside. It may have been Corey Flom, the nose guard out of Prior Lake, Minnesota.
Yeah, take a look at upside. They brought the blitz that time, and I think it was actually Zach Davidson, number 90. No, excuse me, you are correct. That was 98 Flom. They brought too many for Nebraska to block, but again, Gans able to get rid of the football.
And Nebraska is going to have to kick it away. Kicking with the wind with 5:10 left. E.J. Biggers now standing at his 30-yard line. Titchener at his 15. Good snap. Good spiraling kick. Biggers signaling for the fair catch and lets it go. That wasn't real smart. He lost about 10 yards because of that.
I think he should have fielded that easily. You got to take chances, special teams. You need a play right now.
Well, he just cost his team about 10 yards. You know, it's an important part of the year for every team in college football, but Joe Gans tells us it's very important this time of the year for his team.
Those 2 first games are critical, and I think we really need to come out and play, really well. Just to get that confidence back and kind of just, the snowball effect happen. I think last year we played, pretty good the first game, second game, and we played all right. And the USC game just killed us. And I think, we can't let that happen again.
And I think that's been a point of emphasis. And one of the things that the coaches were telling us, and also the players yesterday and this morning, they've taken a sense of ownership of this team. They've got their leadership council that has come up with certain standards that they have to live by, including, family, just conduct and everything. But these guys have taken ownership. They don't have to have the coaches tell them how important these first couple of games are, Rich.
No, and all you have to do is, I said, take a look at some of the stats. Last year, 75 plays the defense gave up that were over 20 yards. Well, you're not going to win many games when things like that are happening. You're giving up big chunks. Teams are going to score against you. So defensive side of the ball, I've seen the group that has come out and has set the tempo and has not stopped. They continue to fly around. Now, have they made some mistakes tonight? Yes, you expect that. Any team on the first night out underneath the lights is going to make some mistakes. Young secondary, but they will improve. But overall, you're seeing an attitude that Bo Pelini brings, which is pressure defense. Get in the quarterback's face. They're going to change it up, keep you off balance.
Let's see how the offense does, because Bo Pelini and Carl Pelini were not happy with that last effort that led to the Western Michigan touchdown. They take over 1st and 10 on their own 18-yard line. Inside of 5 minutes to play here in quarter number 3. Hiller out in the flat to his tight end, Ledbetter again. Loses the football after a pretty good hit. But they're going to say it was a catch, maybe right at the line of scrimmage.
And Eric Hagg, the cornerback on that time, then a nickel defense. He gets out there and makes a nice open field tackle, keep it to a minimal gain. And one of the things I wanted to see was this closing speed. Once the catch is made, because you're going to see a lot of this spread. That's all you're going to see in the Big 12. You've got to be able to get to help support, and that's what you need now. It's all about speed at defensive backfield, and you're seeing that from Nebraska tonight.
They gave him a pickup of 1 2nd and 9. Hiller again goes to the tight end, Ledbetter, up over the 25 to the 28-yard line. Be right at the first down line.
Yeah, he just matched up one-on-one with Cody Glenn, the linebacker that time, and reads it. Just a little hook pattern, comes back over the middle. And again, Ledbetter just using his size, is able to make the catch. And again, coming back to the ball, but I like the open field tackle. And again, when you're playing the spread, you got to have speed, but you got to make sure fundamentally you tackle well. You're seeing that out of Cody Glenn on that play.
Western Michigan in the third quarter almost has matched their offensive total for the first half of play. Hiller, play action, into the flat, passes caught, Anthony Williams. He gets the first down with about 9 to spare. Tackle made by Tyler Wortman.
Yeah, they come out in a 2 tight end look on this play. Wortman steps up, thinking it's going to be a run play. Tight end just kind of sneaks out, gets a step on him, able to pick up the first down. He's going to go ahead and just run a little route underneath. Excuse me, that's the tailback coming out, number 16 on that play. Anthony Williams, tight end. The other third tight end comes out of the backfield and is able to make the catch.
Well, 1st down and 10 inside of 3.5 to go. From the 36, Nebraska's showing blitz. Hiller changes the play. Here comes the blitz. Hiller reads it out in the flat, pass incomplete. Intended for Juan Nunez out of South Miami High School. Anthony West on the coverage.
Number 5,
we talk about how close these brothers are. Carl and Bo Pelini, watch this. Now Carl calls Bo the cerebral one.
But you know, the thing is you know, we asked Carl who's going to be calling the plays, and he was rather emphatic. Bo said, no, CBS Bo. Bo said, I'm calling the plays.
I'm calling the plays. I may be the younger brother, but I am the head coach. 2nd down and 10 from the 36. Crowd starting to get a little antsy here at Memorial Stadium. West straight up the middle, over the 40 up to the 42-yard line. Pickup of 6 on the play. Philip Dillard making the stop. The junior out of Tulsa, Oklahoma, coming out of a great high school, Jenks High School.
And they're having some success outside on the pass. So let's go ahead. Now you've only got 6 men in the box. Let's go ahead and run it. Get some pressure, get some good movement at the point of attack. Pick up some yardage on the run.
And 3rd down and 4. 40% on the night for Western Michigan. They'll go from the shotgun again. Hiller has it knocked down at the line of scrimmage. Bunch of hands were up there. It might have been Pierre Allen, or it could have been Jared Crick, the redshirt freshman.
Yeah, take a look at it. I think it was Crick, the redshirt freshman, who got his hand up, not able to get pressure, but again, doing the next best thing. Hand up, number 94. You're right, Jared Crick. Excellent job, though, What did he do? He got separation from the offensive lineman so he could get his hands up. He could see where the quarterback was at. Again, that's one of those fundamentals that they wanted to change.
Well, it seems to work. They moved him back to the inside. He was on the outside, kicking against the wind. Niles Paul gets away from the first wave, tiptoes down the sideline, and they'll mark him out at about the 26-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Huskers. 2:25 left to play in the third. They lead it by 20.
They can do on the offense this time again. They want to get mixed up the pass and the run, and done very good all night in terms of completions, keeping the defense off balance. And you're seeing a whole different offense, that West Coast offense with a twist that they can run the football real well and add a mobile quarterback on top. And I'll tell you what, you got yourself one big banana split.
Only 40 yards total offense for Nebraska here in quarter number 3. Making some changes on the offensive line now for the Huskers. Up back in, Gans looking, plenty of time. The deep out. Pass is caught by Drew Young. Going down the sideline. Inside the 25. They'll mark him out at the 19.
Talk about throwing into double coverage.
His second reception as a Husker.
And when your quarterback gets that much time in the pocket, sooner or later, anybody's going to get open. And just taking a look at it, Drew Young just dragging across the middle. But, you know, I counted it. He had 5 seconds in the pocket, Joe Gans. He's going to find Drew Young just kind of dragging across the middle. And this was in the double coverage. I know Sean wants to make that throw all the time, but he'll take that one if it's a big play.
Inside of 2 minutes, 55 yards on the reception. Lucky and Castile now split in the backfield. Play action. Gans throwing for Pater for Lucky. He's got it. Touchdown. It covers 19 yards for Joe Gans, his 4th touchdown pass of the night.
Yeah, just Marlon Lucky coming out of the backfield. He beats the linebacker in coverage here. But how about this throw? It comes out on a frozen rope. Yeah. He puts it right over the shoulder of the linebacker, Boston McCornell, number 43. Marlon Lucky, again, hands outstretched, perfect place. Linebacker can't make a play.
Henry's extra point is good. Marlon Lucky gets the touchdown on the reception. He had 3 last year. He gets another one tonight. But what a night again for Joe Gans. He has put the ball on the money. 2 plays on that drive.
Yeah, he did right on the money. Again, time in the pocket. He's got the ability to see down the field. And again, Marlon Lucky, I love the way that ball comes over the top shoulder. There is no way the linebacker can make a play. You see Joe Gans celebrate. I'm telling you what, the timing is on this passing game right now.
315 yards passing for Joe Gans here in this ball game. Marlon Lucky's done a nice job. He's got 11 rushes for 42 yards. You throw in his receiving on that. He's got a couple for 35 yards. Pretty good night for him.
Yeah, 75 catches last year was a record, but he has such soft hands, and his ability to create separation against, it's such a mismatch. There's no linebacker that's going to stay with him as he just releases out of the backfield on that play, right down the sidelines. Tell you what, on that wheel route, nice catch. Nice pitch and throw that time.
Well, Lucky now just 33 away from Johnny Rodgers' record for receptions at 143, which is ironic because Marlon Lucky used to wear number 20 a couple of years ago. Again, the kick out of the end zone with 1:48 to play here in quarter number 3. 44-17, the Huskers lead it.
And they just find so many ways to just create points, Nebraska, right now. And as I said, with so many different personnel, so many different groupings, that's what offensive coordinator Watson wanted to do. You think there's a lot of plays, but there isn't. It's just how many variations of those plays they can put out there confuses the defense. So right now, Western Michigan, not really sure where it's coming from.
It'll be 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line. It overshadowed is Tim Hiller's job tonight. He's done a nice job. He's 22 of 33, 217 yards and a touchdown, no interceptions. Again, the Ledbetter. He's got another first down as he just takes the hard hit again as he crosses the 35-yard line. Ledbetter has been on fire. That is his 8th catch already tonight.
Yeah, and they've done really here in the second half. The offensive line from Western Michigan has done a very good job in pass protection. But what they're doing is they're keeping Brandon West in also. So they've got 6 blocking 4. They're making sure they get double teams on the edge.
And this time they hurry up the offense a little bit. Hiller's going to be dropped, though, back at the 33-yard line. That pocket collapsed completely. Clayton Severs first coming up from that defensive end spot. Also Shuckry Barfield coming in from the nose guard spot.
And also Sue, number 93, gets a nice push in the middle. But the Brandon West, he's got to get out. He's got to get out right now. He's a little late, but I'm going to tell you what, that time offensive guard got to be able to firm up a little bit in the quarterback's lap.
2nd down and 13 for Hiller. This time the handoff to West. Stretches up to about the 39-yard line. Picks up a couple on the play. Sue on the stop.
Yeah, just take a look at Sue, number 93. I'll tell you what, really much better job of the defensive line with hands. Attacking the offensive line, getting that separation so you can see the quarterback and also the running back. Just talking about number 93. Watch him in the pit. Watch the hands. See how his head's separated? Now he can shed the offensive guard that time, 61. Clemens to make a play.
3rd down and 9. They bring 5. They dump it off. Schneider Julian has some running room. Turns on the Jets. Inside the 20. Corralled at about the 15. Dillard is the one who had to track him down, but Schneider Julian, the senior out of Miami, wide open again.
Yeah, they're just in the zone. And Armando Murillo, number 5. I think that's him, or it's West, number 5.
West.
Number 5, excuse me. They just run a crossing pattern here. It's in a zone. He's got the outside man. He comes up and he loses contain. West loses contain, and there's the pass and the big gain. Again, miscommunication in the defensive backfield for Nebraska here. I'll tell you what, Coach Bellini not very happy right now.
50 yards on the reception by Julian. That's the longest in the last 2 years. You know, one of the things coaches talk about, and both coaches said, you can't give up big plays. And you and I have been talking about that the last couple of days. Your defense, especially a new defense, you can see how animated Bo Pelini is at that point. You can't give up 50-yard plays in the Big 12.
Not at all. And we talked about that last year, explosive plays over 20 yards. Well, last year they gave up 75 of them, and that just changes the dimension of the game. And when you talk about teams that you're going to play, Texas Tech, you're going to be playing Missouri, you're going to be playing Kansas. These are the type of plays, Oklahoma, they can do things quickly. That's why you cannot make mistakes. So far, it's all been Nebraska on defense, mental errors that's been costly.
190 yards now for Western Michigan in the 3rd. Hiller to West. Bangs his way down to the 10-yard line. They may give him the 9. That probably will be the last play of the quarter of the 3rd quarter. And that's going to do it. 44-17 is the score. 3 quarters have been played in Lincoln, Nebraska. We'll take a quick timeout. Come back for the 4th and final quarter of Game 1 of the Bo Pelini era. Here, set for the final 15 minutes. We saw conditioning on that last play. Stacy, Nebraska's changed their philosophy on that.
You're exactly right, Ron. Strength and conditioning coach James Dobson in his first year altered the Cornhuskers workout regimen. Of course, they're still working on strength and power, but this season it's all about flexibility and mobility. You've got to keep moving. And he says, you know what does it take? If you guys can push a lot of numbers in the weight room, that's great, but if that does not translate on the field, then you're not gaining anything. As you see a list of some of the biggest losers, one of which we're going to show you, he just did a big thing moments ago, and Ron will talk us through that in just a moment. But these guys have lost collectively hundreds of pounds. So that strength and conditioning workout from James Dobson is working. Coach Pelini loves it. Back to you, Ron.
Absolutely. We saw Dillard right there. I mean, he's the one who recognized what was happening on the play.
Yeah, he just turns and runs, and he's one who makes the play. You watch West, number 5. He kind of gives up on it. I'm going to promise you, Bo Pelini's going to talk to him about this. But how about Dillard? Look at the quickness, getting down the field. Again, a touchdown-saving tackle. And I'll tell you what, weightlifting is great, but I've always been told one thing, Ron. If you're going to weigh something, If you can't carry it, don't weigh it. And that's what happened last year in Nebraska. Too many of these guys, too heavy. Matt Slauson, the right guard, 345 pounds. Can't really pull. You're not too mobile at that weight. Down to about 315. Looks like a much better athlete this year.
So we heard Stacy talking about James Dobson when he interviewed strength and conditioning coaches. He didn't tell them what he wanted. He said, "What's your philosophy?" And he found the guy that has his philosophy. 2nd down and 6 from the 9. Western Michigan can get a first down. Couple of tight ends. Nebraska jumping on the line of scrimmage. Hiller goes deep in the end zone. Incomplete, knocked away at the last second by Haig. Nice defensive effort from the sophomore from Peoria, Arizona. Simmons, their outstanding receiver, had it. Couldn't hold on.
Yeah, Simmons this time, and he had Haig beat by 2 steps. He just couldn't bring him in. Here he comes, and just underneath, works back outside, and Haig that time, again, not the best change of direction, but look at the acceleration to come back. He's able to get his right arm in and strip the ball away.
That's not Tim Hiller's fault. 3rd down and 6 from the 9. Here comes the blitz. They pick it up. Pass incomplete, almost picked off by Anthony West. A little miscommunication there, I think, between Hiller and his wide receiver.
Yeah, like Brandon West, first of all, on the blitz pickup this time. And again, this time, take a look at West coming up underneath. He picks up, and there is some pressure, but Hiller delivers the ball. But again, I'm not sure which one he was looking for. It was Nunez underneath. I thought he was going with that football.
Well, it's 4th down and 6 from the 9. No field goal. They want the 6. Nebraska rushes 4. Hiller, first down, and the touchdown. Juan Nunez loses the helmet, but he gets the 6.
And I'll tell you what, Tim Hiller, the quarterback this time, slide protection. He does a great job just stepping to the side, finally finding his receiver, Nunez, in the end zone for the touchdown.
And look at it again. Nice job by Hiller again.
Yeah, no pressure this time. He's got a nice throwing lane. And again, there's some confusion. It looked like a zone defense. But again, people getting their backs turned, not sure which guy to pick up underneath for Nebraska.
And the extra point by Potter is good. So with 14:43 to play in the ball game, the Broncos are not going away. 44-24, Huskers lead it by 20. 14:43 to play in the ball game. And Nebraska leads at 44-24. The Broncos now with 305 yards. They're only 90 yards behind what Nebraska has. The Nebraska defense, quite frankly, especially the secondary, has not played well here in the second half. Going back to the touchdown.
Yeah, again, getting some time in the pocket, and Nunez just running a quick slant. And again, underneath.
Listen to this. You got to buckle up both chin straps, Juan.
O'Hanlon on the hit. Bringing the wood.
You know, last year red zone defense was not good for the Huskers. 92% overall, 75% of which were touchdowns. That is something Bo Pelini was concerned about. And you see tonight, 3 of 4, including a field goal.
And right now he's not happy again. I'm just seeing some effort and just the communication right now. Secondary, first half is fine. This half now, right now, guys aren't really sure where they need to be. And that was the problem last year.
And Nebraska's going to bring it out. It'll be Niles Paul. Takes a hit, crosses the 20 up to the 24-yard line. Took a big chance as he was a couple of yards deep. Desmond Stephen on the stop.
Niles Paul a little banged up coming off the field.
Husker fans catch Big 12 football on FSN all season long. FSN will televise 19 games live and in HD on Big 12 Showcase. We preview the week's games, and on Saturdays throughout the fall, watch FSN's Big 12 postgame shows for all the highlights. Big 12 football this fall on FSN. Nebraska's going to keep it on the ground. Lucky's taking a couple of hits as he gets back to the line of scrimmage. Louis Delmas, the free safety, making the first contact.
They're trying to run a little counter, but in that last play on the touchdown, when you play in a zone, Ron, one of the things you have to remember is you get your spot, but then you don't stop. You have to find the ball and go react. And on that play, I'm telling you, O'Hanlon, the safety in that one, strong free safety, he's got to react quicker. He sees that slant route. He's got to come now. And that's why I think Coach Pelini was talking to him on the sidelines. Once you see it, react. Don't stand and look around.
13:56 to play in the ball game. In motion, Gillian. Play action pass. Gans has to step up. Looking. Being chased. Doing a nice job. Gets a block. Crosses the 30 up to about the 33-yard line. Nice job by Ryan Hill, the redshirt freshman out of Colorado, on the blocking.
He did. And
that's decision making too, isn't it?
It was nice. Joe Gans didn't have anything to go. He didn't know nowhere to go downfield with the football. But how about the speed when he gets to the side? Any defensive coordinator now is going to go, you know what? We've got to spy this guy every time. Again, just outrunning the defensive line. And again, you talk about quarterbacks that have some mobility. This guy has running back speed.
He's not afraid to tuck it either. Closing in on 13 minutes to play in the ball game. With Castile now in the I formation. And he has the football right side, nothing doing, up to the 35-yard line. Good enough for the first down. Austin Pritchard coming up from the linebacker spot to make the stop. The junior out of Lebanon, Ohio.
Just running a little power O that play. So the backside guard pulls around. Keith Williams, number 68, gets up inside the hole, clears the lane for his running back for the first down.
Now it's a 20-point lead. How much offensively are you doing just to get the reps to prepare for the rest of the season at this point?
Oh, I think you want to see everything. Again, this is a new offense. You want to see about, you talked about pulling, you talked about guys doing hit through the sweep. You want to kind of get a mixture of everything.
Yes, pulls it back, looking again, showing some patience. Fires the pass, incomplete. London Fryer on the coverage. Gillian, the intended receiver.
And again, you saw, like on that play, what you saw was sweep action to the left, and then the naked boot coming out, and here's Joe Gans. And what you like when he throws this ball, he's moving forward so he can deliver that football with authority. I'm going to say one thing about Kerensky. Gillian, you got to keep coming back to the ball.
Yeah.
You can't stop on that, because if not, the defensive back can make a break on it, as you saw London Fryer that time able to break up the pass.
You see the numbers on Gans so far this evening. The key one, of course, the touchdowns. On 2nd and 10, he's going to put it up again. Fires pass incomplete. Here comes the penalty flag, and there it is.
And they got Austin Pritchard that time. And Joe Gans just trying to check down as we going to get the pass interference call.
Pass interference, defense, number 35. The penalty, the first down, the spot of the foul. First down.
Gans only 3 of 7 passing here in the second half as Nebraska continues to work on their run game.
And I'll tell you what, offensive line, nice job up front of giving that throwing lane. You know, people don't like to talk about it, but I'm telling you, the quarterback has a chance to see down the field. He can put delivery on that ball so much more accurate. That time, Joe Gans put it in the right spot. That's why you got the defensive pass interference.
Now they go 3 wide receivers to the right as we close in on 12.5 to play in the ball game. Keeping it on the ground with Hello. Gets up to the 45-yard line. Pick up a 5 on the play. You know, you talk about this Nebraska offense, and the reason I asked you about the rushing attempts, because in the season opener last year versus Nevada, they had 70 rushing attempts. Then they went to a season low 20 versus Colorado. Sean Watson says, we got to balance this thing out a little more.
Yeah, they did. And right now, what we're seeing, you saw trips formation that time, and an excellent job now in the quarterback read. And instead of a boot action, now we're coming back underneath with the underhand handoff to the tailback inside for good positive yardage.
And it sets up a 2nd and 5. Nice job defensively by Western Michigan. Hello had no place to go. He's going to lose a couple on the play.
wrapped up.
Weston Duclos coming in from that middle linebacker spot, the junior out of Southgate, Michigan.
And they run that on the front side. You have an ace block there between the center and the guard. You've got to be able to find that back side. Center and right guards have got to be able to find that middle linebacker. They don't, and Duclos just comes over the top, makes the play.
And Bill Cuban has to be pleased with the effort of his squad so far, because they've been down by a bunch, but he told us on Wednesday, and he's been telling us for a couple of days, my guys don't quit. They haven't. 3rd down and 7 for the Huskers. Here comes the blitz. Nebraska picks it up, passes incomplete, intercepted. Delmas over the 40 to the 35 to the 30, and he's going to be knocked down at the 28-yard line.
And I'm going to tell you on that play right there, number 8, Henry, he's got to be able to continue to come across on that route. Short arm this one, and that's the reason why Delmas came up with the interception.
First turnover of the ball game for this Nebraska offense.
The ball was a little bit high, but again, Holt's got to continue to stretch for that ball. He kind of hesitated a little bit. Delmas just sitting back there playing center field, makes the catch. Excuse me, that was Henry, number 8.
That is his 9th career interception. As we mentioned, this is a senior secondary. They led the nation in picks 2 years ago with 24. And now Western Michigan has outstanding field position. From the Nebraska 29 with 11:13 to play. Hiller, plenty of time, feels pressure on the backside, dumps it off. Julian scampers out of bounds down at the 16-yard line.
And the one thing that we've seen here in the second half is he's had excellent time here since the 3rd quarter, Tim Hiller, and he's able to survey the field, nothing downfield, so he's just going to check it down to Julian Schneider underneath. Makes a nice catch and ends up the field for positive yardage.
And another 1st down, 1st and 10 on the 16. They'll go from the shotgun. They try the running play. West, nothing doing. He's going to be shoved back. Dominican Sue holding on to him.
And that time, why they went to the running game is now we've had some success spreading the defense out. There's only 6 men in the box for the defense. You're going to go ahead and try to run up inside. But watch on this time, Hiller, instead of handing that ball off, he's going to take it out the backside because the way they're collapsing on that defensive end now for Nebraska. Watch for Hiller to keep it and run.
Julian and Simmons wide to the right. West steps up. They go to the shotgun. Looking to run the option. They give it to West. Cuts back against the grain. Inside the 15 down to the 13-yard line. Pickup of 2 on the play, and Philip Dillard makes him pay.
Yeah, trying to run the option, and again, the inside pursuit this time. It looked like Brandon West was going to make a nice cut. He had some inside yardage. Take a look at the option. Again, Hillard pushing down the line. Now he makes the pitch. But again, watch the inside pursuit. Dillard's on there, and also Cody Glenn, number 34. Good job on the defense, forcing the tailback back inside. Now you got support.
3rd down and 7 from the 13. And Nebraska is going to whistle their first time out of the second half. And as Bo Pelini talks it over with his assistant coaches, we'll take a timeout also. 9:25 left to play in the ball game. The Huskers by 20. Western Michigan knocking on the door. They're 4 of 5 from the red zone tonight. One of those was a field goal. They trail it 44-24. 8:25 left to play in the ball game, and you and I were chatting during the break. As you can see, some of the numbers, only 16 yards rushing tonight for Western Michigan. Bo is just a little hot right now.
Yeah, yeah, second half here. It looks like, you know, we talked about a lot of emotion coming out in the first half. Looks like the guys got a little flat on themselves, but again, some mistakes that Bo doesn't want to see. He wants to see leadership. He wants to see guys continue to play at a high level. They haven't done that here in the 3rd or the 4th quarter.
Now this is 3rd down and 7. Nunez wide to the right. Simmons is in the slot on the near side. 6 in the box for Nebraska. And we've got motion in the backfield that's going to go against Western Michigan. Looked like West may have jerked a little bit.
False start. Offense, number 2. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Here's Bo Pelini during that last play.
You know, and we were just talking some stats. Just went back and looked in some of the record books here. And in 05, they had 50 sacks, Nebraska, and 140 tackles for loss. Last year, 9 sacks, only 70 tackles for loss. That's the difference. No pressure.
Absolutely. And the points went way up last year, doubling the year before. 7 to snap it, 3rd down and now 12. Here comes the pressure. Hiller gets hit as he lets it go. Intercepted, Nebraska. Anthony West.
And an excellent job, Bo Pelini and the defense on the blitz. The walking Turner around number 99. And what it does is causes the offensive line cannot go ahead and slide to the outside. Corner comes off the top. Running back, that's your man, West. And there's a hit on the quarterback, Tim Hiller. They should have picked this up easily, but that's the confusion of the blitz. You're bringing inside heat and the outside. Running back and offensive line can't do it. West is there for the interception. Nice call by Bo Pelini. Again, change up that defensive look, having success.
So Delmas has the interception. Gans fumbles the snap. Ball's loose. Lucky's got it. No place to go. He's going to be dropped back at the 25-yard line. That'll be a loss of 4, but Delmas with the nice interception. Gave Western Michigan outstanding field position, and then West with the interception after a very well played first 3 quarters.
Yeah, let's just take a look at this play, and here's the fumble on the play. Marlon Lucky picking it up, and again, Bo Pelini not happy with things like this. You just had a big play defensively. You turn it around. We get a chance, we'll try to tee up. I wanted to take a look at that blitz play and just show you the different combinations, how it confuses the offense.
2nd down and 14 after a loss of 4. Ball in motion. Gans over the middle. Pass knocked away. Incomplete. Looked like it probably was intended for Nate Swift. Here's that interception one more time.
Yeah, just take a look, and here's Turner, see, and right now the offensive guard and tackle are the inside 2. The running back has the corner blitz. He forgot about the corner blitz, and the corner now is hitting your quarterback in the teeth. West is able to make the interception. But again, it's walking people around. It's getting people there at the last second. Offensive line, running backs can't communicate, and that's why you have the pressure on the quarterback.
West's first career interception. DB coach Marvin Sanders says he's one of the smartest quarterbacks he's ever coached. Gans dumps it off right over the middle, wide open. Swift, 1st down and then some. Inside the 45, down to the 44. Mario Armstrong coming up to make the stop.
And he just finds a hole in the middle over the zone, just settles down, and again, Gans just making the throw. Protection up front is good. Again,
I don't think Bo Pelini saw this play. Kind of turns around and goes, what'd we do? Oh, that's good. Good, excellent.
Yeah, he's been talking to the defense all night here in the 2nd half.
Pickup of 30 on the play. 1st down and 10 now from the 45. Gans keeps it, looking down. Pass is picked off again. Looks like C.J. Wilson may have come up with it. So after a very well played 3 quarters, we have 3 turnovers in the space of about 2 minutes here in quarter number 4.
Yeah, just taking a play. This is where Joe Gans cannot force the ball. He comes out on the boot. There's underneath, there's over the top. There's nowhere for him to go. Tight end is double covered that time. And again, he has to be able to take the ball in, continue to run to the sidelines. Put it away, take a couple yards. You don't need to force the ball at that point.
What did he tell us yesterday? Decision making.
Decision making.
Not forcing the football in. So now Western Michigan takes over with 7:47 to go, trailing by 20. They were knocking on the door a couple of minutes ago. Came up empty. 2 tight end. Little razzle-dazzle. Hiller steps up. Going deep down the middle. Has a man. Knocked away at the last second. Great coverage. Prince Amukamara coming up with a great stop.
Prince Amukamara, and I'll tell you what, again, Probably not the best position to be in, but look at the acceleration. You see the razzle-dazzle. Back to Tim Hillard. He steps up, but watch the recovery speed. This is what you got to have when you're playing this. And watch the speed. He makes up at least 7 yards and gets that right hand up to keep that ball away from Juan Nunez from making the reception.
Nunez had a step on him, too. Now Hillard goes back to work, throws out of the flat, pass is complete, down to the 42-yard line. Snyder Julian on the reception.
You see, and even on that play there, Eric Hagg, the cornerback, he's got to be able to make that tackle. It wasn't much afterwards, but still breaking down. It's one of the things I'm seeing here in the second half. Fundamentally getting a little shaky right now for Nebraska's defense.
Here comes the blitz. They read it. Pass is incomplete. No penalty flag. Good cover by West.
He did that time sitting at home in the zone. Again, he gets his hand across, anticipating, not going through the receiver, but finding the ball.
That brings up a 4th and 5. Look at the job by the line.
Yeah, they're just trying to get some pressure. We haven't had much here in the second half. Philip Dillard coming on the blitz late. You can see Bo Pelini, he's going to bring people from everywhere. Middle linebacker, he's going to walk his defensive line around. Corner blitz, he's going to get in the quarterback's face.
Here's a 4th down and 5. They are 2 for 2 tonight in this situation. 6 to snap. Now whistle and a timeout. Bill Cuba was trying to call a timeout from the near sideline. Able to do it. 7:12 to play in the ball game. The Huskers lead it 44-24.
And that's the difference I'm seeing in this Nebraska defense right now compared to last year. Better at the point of attack. They're having their struggles here in the second half, but what you're seeing, though, is the combination from the blitzing makes it so difficult. You better make sure you get up to the line of scrimmage against Nebraska, and you're going to need about 20 seconds.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at the Big 12 scoreboard. The out-of-town scoreboard tonight is Nebraska leading their game 44-24, but a lot of other teams in action. And there were some pretty good games. Of course, Baylor lost on Thursday night. Oklahoma State very impressive this afternoon against Washington State, against the Cougars. Paul Wolf's first year. They win it. Illinois getting beaten right now by Missouri, 24-13. Florida International losing to Kansas, a lot closer than people thought. Oh, my goodness. Texas, Howard Schnellenberger throwing a little gas on the fire a couple of weeks ago. And how about Texas A&M being upset by Arkansas State, who almost did that last year to Texas. And Texas Tech having problems with Eastern Washington, and Oklahoma leads by 50 at halftime.
And you just see them right now. I see Bo and Carl in the huddle right now talking, and they want to make sure that this scoring for Western Michigan ends right now. But I was going to say, all these teams now in the Big 12 North, you're not going to fly underneath the radar this year.
No, you're not.
I'll tell you what, you got the bullseye on your back.
You know, the most surprising score there, though, the upset, obviously, of Texas A&M, but Texas Tech and Eastern Michigan. I mean, this is, we had it at about a 60-point game, literally.
Yep.
And they're hanging tough. Well, the point at hand here is right now 4th down and 5 for Western Michigan and Bill Cubitt's squad. 7:13 to play in the ball game. Nebraska brings 5. Hiller has to throw it away, incomplete. Great pressure again by Philip Dillard.
Take a look at Turner, the defensive end, what he does. Great job sacrificing it so he can get a hold of the offensive line. Watch him grab the shoulders. Now Dillard tight coming on the blitz. He can come right off the guard's shoulder again. And this is the reason why you want Bo Pelini at defensive coordinator. I tell you what, he'll keep you guessing every time.
Well, you know, you talk about Dillard, and we were talking about early, Stacey was talking about early, the biggest losers. Here's a guy who played at 270 last year. He's at about 235 right now. Roy Helu breaks open into the secondary, sprinting down the sideline over the 35. They'll mark him out of bounds at about the 31-yard line. C.J. Wilson on the stop.
He did. He's got to the outside, but I tell you what, just in reference to the defenses, we'll take a look at the play on the outside here. Again, a little fake dive, and then again, Hilou just seeing there's nothing in the middle. Again, that's all athleticism. Nothing up front. I'll go ahead and bounce it to the outside. Western Michigan, you can't lose contain.
Pickup of 27 on the play. They stick to the ground game, banging it inside the 30, down to the 26-yard line. Roy Hilou again. This guy's got such great balance. Watching him in practice yesterday and also tonight, his balance is outstanding.
Great, I'll tell you, tremendous balance. But, you know, just back to the defense. The way that they've got Turner now, defensive end, walking him around. He's doing an excellent job in those stunts of grabbing people, and it's just freeing up lanes for the linebackers. I'm liking to watch this defense in Nebraska this year.
Well, Quentin Castile comes in as Nebraska closing in on 500 total yards. Castile with the football. Nothing doing. May have gotten back to the line of scrimmage. Big stack up there. Duclos on the stop, the junior out of Southgate, Michigan. Clock now inside of 6 minutes to play in the ball game.
Inside the trenches that time, Western Michigan getting a push, staying at home. Again, now you might see the boot action come out again this time as everybody's closing inside on the run. Watch with Joe Gans try to break contain again.
Well, Bo's going to have a lot to talk to his team about tomorrow. 3rd down and 6 from the 27. Deathly quiet. This Kansas pass is knocked away, intended for Quentin Castile. I think if you give a report card right now, Sean Watson's offense has played very, very well.
They have played very well.
If you want to nitpick just a little bit, only 5 and 11 on 3rd down conversions.
Yeah, they're trying to set up a middle screen on this play. And again, number 99 to play, Nick Farkapane, that time getting his hands up.
Tell Alex Henry, who's been perfect so far this evening, they're going to spot this one at about the 35-yard line again. This will be his second 45-yarder. This one into the breeze. Good snap. Good hold. He's got the leg. Alex Henry doing an outstanding job tonight. He was 8 for 8 on field goals last year, and he's perfect again this evening.
Doing a really good job keeping his head down, following through on that kick, and that's what gives you the power. Keep the shoulders down, see the ball, see it go all the way through.
And that pushes the lead to 47-24, 5:22 left to play in the ball game. Don't forget, next week, all your pay-per-view subscriber, you can watch the San Jose State game in Nebraska beginning at 11:30. You know, when you talk to coaches, a lot of coaches will tell you that a team takes on the personality of their coach, especially their head coach. And we asked Bo Pelini what type of personality does he want his team to have.
I want a physical, tough football team. And that's what I want them to play. I want them to play with passion.
That's why I said hit and miss.
And I think that's the way they'll play. I feel confident. We have a lot of character on this team, good kids, and I think that that type of attitude will radiate from this group.
And I think he's hit it right on the head.
And I think you saw that there when they needed the big play, when they needed in the 4th down to stop Western Michigan. They needed to get pressure on the quarterback. And again, you see unselfish play. You see Turner in there working on the stunt. You see everybody getting where they need to be, and they make a play. And right now, that's been the only difference on times where they've had mistakes is, you know, sometimes people just not knowing where their help is or where they need to be on the field. But when they're all on the same page right now, this Nebraska defense, it's a whole different story this year.
Oh, absolutely. 326 yards they've given up, but that's a far cry from last year's 377. But Western Michigan will have 522 to try to add to their total.
And that's the thing, you have to be creative on defense. You've got to be able, you just can't line up all the time and think your front four are going to be able to get to the quarterback. You've got to be able to show the quarterback or the offense that you're going to bring heat from different ways. And what that does then is it causes the offensive line to hesitate. And sometimes once you got him to hesitate a little bit, you got a chance then to get to the quarterback.
Hadi Kudalek set to kick it away again. This is going to be short. It'll be West. Steps up over the 25 to the 30 to the 31-yard line.
Western Michigan, you know, first half, some turnovers. They were definitely influenced by the crowd and the energy. But here in the second half, they continued to play hard, overcoming adversity, and that was one of the things that Coach Cubit wanted to see. Maturity of his team and his quarterback, and I think they've demonstrated that here in the second half.
Well, Hiller 27 of 44, 310 yards, a couple of interceptions. His longest was 50. He has done a very nice job throwing the football tonight. This is a team that's picked third in their division of their conference in the West of the MAC. They're a lot better than that. West on the little flare out. He's going to be dragged down behind by Cody Glenn.
That's
They haven't called his name in a while.
Cody Glenn just man-to-man on that time with the tailback, and he just comes out. He reads the screen all the way. He's man-to-man. He's locked up on West, and he's just going to get outside and makes a great play.
12 tackles now for Cody Glenn in the ball game. Inside of 4:50 to play. Second down and 16 after the loss of 6. Hiller going to be dropped back at the 17-yard line. Terrence Moore coming up, the redshirt freshman out of New Orleans, Louisiana. Coaches have had high praise for him all spring.
Yeah, great coverage downfield, and you know what? It works in tandem with the guys up front. When the big guys get some coverage, they're able to collapse it. Take a look at Crick. He's pressuring the pocket. Just keep working. Just keep bringing your feet. But on the outside, too, number 95, Pierce Allen, he closes the back door, makes the quarterback step up, and there's your big defensive tackles to make the play.
Now it's third down and long, 3rd and 23. And they come with a blitz. Hiller steps up, throws down the middle to Ledbetter, the tight end. Gets away, he's got the first down. Up to midfield, tripped up down at the 48-yard line by Anthony West.
Yeah, they brought the whole kitchen sink that time, and they left the middle of the field open. And I'll tell you what, Ledbetter runs a great route on this. And again, if you're going to send everybody, you better get to the quarterback. Here you see the free safety and the strong safety coming. I'm going to tell you what, somebody was supposed to be in the back. Somebody was supposed to stay. Again, there was some miscommunication on that blitz.
9 catches for Ledbetter in this ball game. He has covered 123 yards and a touchdown. Pass complete to Nunez. He gets inside the 45, down to the 44. Clock continues to run. 3.5 to play in the ball game.
There have been some mistakes, but you know, when you got to always look for the silver lining. What you're seeing on the outside of the cornerback position is overall been pretty good tackling all night. When they've been in position, they've been making the open field tackles. One of the things you got to continue to prove on, especially playing against all these spread teams in the Big 12 North.
On second down and 5, Hiller again. Looking for somebody. He's got a man deep. Doesn't see him. Wide open was Jamarco Simmons. He was standing on the 20. You saw it too because you came out of your chair. He was so wide open.
He was.
Oh my!
Rolled out of the pocket that time. Tim Hillard defeating, getting outside the pocket, getting some time, extending the play with his feet, but not able to find.
Well, I didn't see Simmons even raise his hand. Well, I didn't see him kind of wave.
I think he had a neon light going, I'm open.
2:46 to play in a ball game. Third down and 9 for Tim Hiller, who's played an outstanding game tonight. Giving his friends in Ohio something to cheer about. Goes down the middle again. Pass is going to be short hop. Incomplete, intended for Simmons. That'll bring up a 4th down and 9.
Eric Haig on the coverage that time, number 28. Step for step with the receiver. Tim Hiller thought a little bit on the throw, poor throw. Thought he had his receiver on that quick slant. Ball didn't come out very good in the ground.
You know, we see that Hiller has thrown for 342 yards. You can't forget last year against Iowa, he threw for 300. Also threw for 300 against Indiana. Here's a 4th down and 9.
See what kind of blitz they bring this time for Nebraska.
Going deep over the middle, passes knocked away from Ledbetter at the last second again. Cody Glenn on the coverage.
Cody Glenn all the way, coverage on the post pattern again. You can keep him in. You don't have to substitute and go to dime. Put Cody Glenn on the outside. He'll go step for step with receiver or a tailback, but an excellent job on that in terms of getting his inside hand up and being able to deflect that ball away.
Well, the man of the night, though, Joe Gans, 345 yards and 4 touchdowns throwing. All right, Roy Heller with a nice run. He gets up over the 45-yard line, down to the 40.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, that's a nice run on that play, too, by Roy Halou, just bouncing outside, able to pick up some positive yardage following his guard. Matt Slauson just kind of folds around. Good job by Slauson keeping his shoulder square, able to pick up the middle linebacker, Dustin Duclos. Now your running back can break off.
This time he bounces to the outside, picks up a couple, and he is going to be run out of bounds at the 38-yard line.
I'll tell you, nice change of direction. And what you like about him, too, as a running back, his shoulders stay square to the line of scrimmage, and he stays in a good power position. So when he makes that cut, he can keep going forward. A lot of times what happens when backs try to cut too much, they get high. So what happens is they kind of get wider on their cuts. Now defense can come up and make a play.
Well, he's the leading rusher right now with 52 yards. Marlon Lucky's got 43 on 12 carries. Joe Gans has not had to rush here in the second half. Second down and 7 with a minute and a half to play in the ball game. A little play action, looking down the middle. Castile had it, dropped it. Coverage was by Duclos again, who's been the real quarterback of his defense. Okay, with the final minute 22, give your grades. Offense for Nebraska.
Well, I think right now when you see this many points on the board, 47 points, you see the play of the quarterback, you see the play of the offensive line up front. I like the play calling. I got to give an A+ for what I've seen tonight offensively for Nebraska.
Okay, defensively.
Well, in the second half, too many mistakes, too many times people not knowing where their help is at, and again, sometimes a lack of effort. I have problems with that. I'm going to give him a C overall in the game, but the play calling for Bo Pelini, you got to give him an A+. Doing a good job of putting his guys in good position.
Yeah, the final minute and 15 seconds, Castile on the run again.
And that's the thing. Anytime you have a new system, Ron, comes in, it just takes time. You're going to learn it. You can be told about it. You can talk about it. But until you're in live game action, you see routes running, you're a little bit tired. You might think you pick up something a little different than practice. That's where you got to get time. You got to get used to playing next to each other. Who's doing what? You've got new linebackers in there. So new people with defensive backs. You're running some new blitzes, putting it all together. But overall, this is a whole different team that we're seeing in Nebraska than what we saw last year.
Well, kudos to the crowd who are finally just starting to file out of Memorial Stadium. Over 84,000 on hand. They'll call the timeout with 35 seconds left to play in the ball game. Still fourth down. They're going to kick it away. I think you hit it on the head, though. It's just, you know, and Bo Pelini even told us yesterday, I don't know what we have. I know what our practices have been, but we don't know until the bullets start flying live, and that's what happened tonight.
Yeah, he did, and there were some mistakes made, and he said there was going to be mistakes. Even Carl Pelini said, yes, we know there's going to be mistakes, but these are things that can be corrected right now. But what I saw in the defense, I saw a physical team, and you know what? They got a leader down there, and it's number 34.
That's, if there's one thing, it's the coming out party of Cody Glenn. Pitcher looks at, angles it towards the end zone, but it's probably going to reach it, and it does. 28 seconds left. Western Michigan will have one more offensive series.
But, you know, that's so important.
There's Cody Glenn right there.
And, you know, it's so important. It's not about what people say on the sideline. Speeches don't matter. You know what you do when you're a young guy? You watch the older guys. You watch what they do on the field. You emulate what they're doing. Cody Glenn brings an attitude and a passion. He's running around, flying around. That's what people want to see. They didn't have that last year. Now you got number 34. I'll guarantee you, this is the guy now that will set the tempo every week.
Of course, there were no black shirts handed out. We asked Bo Pelini about it, and he says, no, it's not time yet. And he talked about Cardinal Mooney High School, where he played, obviously, in Youngstown. Bob Stoops played, Mike Stoops played. He said, we didn't have our names on the jersey. We played for the front of the jersey, and he talked about the pride. But maybe black shirts might be handed out, and I think right now Cody Glenn might get one, and so would Philip Dillard. They had an outstanding game tonight. His son comes out to meet him. There's Cody Glenn, the star of the game. Cody Glenn tonight, not bad. 12 tackles, 9 solo, 3 assisted. He forced a fumble, 3 passes broken up. Not a bad night for the first-time linebacker who only played a little linebacker in high school.
They didn't have all the sacks in the world tonight. You want to see that. If you're talking about improvement, you got to be able to get more sacks on the board. But what you saw tonight was pressure. They were creative in bringing pressure. Every offensive coordinator now is going to look at this film, and they're going to say, you know what? We're going to have to simplify our offense and make sure we get up to the line of scrimmage quickly. If not, it's going to be in trouble.
We're going to take a break. We'll be back to wrap things up. Nebraska wins it. The final once again, 47-24. Once again, the final score, Nebraska wins at 47-24. The Broncos, as just what Bill Cuba told us, they never gave up. They continue to play tough, along with Rich Baldinger. I'm Ron Thulin. Let's take a look at the final numbers right now. Nebraska 17 yards short of 500, but I think the stat that Bo's concerned about is that 350.
Yeah, it is, and he doesn't like that. But the one thing you got to like, rushing yards, only 8. They wanted to improve on that. Last year, over 200 yards they were giving up on the ground. She saw some improvement. But again, there were some communication errors, but these are things they can correct.
Well, Stacey Bates is standing by with our star of the game, Joe Gann. Stacey.
That's right, Ron. Thanks so much. You know, when you look back at this game, Coach had told me at halftime, you guys lost composure. Do you feel you all regained it enough in the second half?
Yeah, I think we played good in the third quarter. You know, fourth quarter, I let some, you know, that one throw on the rollout get away from me, and you know, I just can't, you know, let that happen. And I have to be smarter than that with the lead. You know, just run the ball for a couple yards and get down. But yeah, I think, you know, I think the third quarter we came out and played well. You know, we got to finish it off in the fourth quarter better.
As they look at game film tomorrow, what do you think you guys are going to be working on this week?
A lot. You know, we got a lot of stuff to get better. You know, we had a pretty good game, but you know, we still had mistakes. You know, those 2 picks. You know, I'll be looking at those a couple times, and you know, we got a lot of room to get better. But you know, I'm pleased with the effort the guys put out there today.
One of your team goals is to restore the tradition. How do you measure this game?
We're not there. We're not there. We're not even close. You know, we came out and played pretty well, and but you know, not as good as we can play. And I think you know, I think we're on the right track, but you know, we're not close yet.
Also looking at this season, this crowd, this community has high expectations for you guys. How do you not put too much pressure on yourselves collectively?
You know, you just go out and work every day. You know, you kind of just, you know, you live within the team. You don't, you know, you don't read the newspaper. You don't go on the internet. You kind of just, you know, live within the team and just kind of know what your guys are capable of, and you know, not, you know, listen to what the fans expect or what, you know, the media expects from us. It's what we expect from ourselves. So, you know, that's what we really look at, is what we expect from ourselves and what we know we can get done.
And that goes alongside one of your other team rules, and that's brotherhood and unity. Thanks for your time. Good luck this season.
Thank you very much.
All right, Ron, back to you guys.
All right, Stacey, I think you hit it on the head. He's probably going to be watching those interceptions a couple of times. But when we talked to the coaches exactly what they wanted to get out of tonight, they said they wanted to play 100% all the time. They made a lot of mistakes, but I don't think either team quit tonight.
No, they didn't. And the one thing about the offense for Nebraska in the fourth quarter, you know, talking to Coach Watson, he said, we've got to be able to run the football. In the fourth quarter, they did that. They came out, Roy Halou, tailback, made some great runs, followed his offensive line. So I'm seeing a very creative offenses. And yes, you're going to have mistakes out there. First night underneath the lights. But what did we want to see out of Nebraska football team tonight? What was the big picture? We wanted to see a team that played with passion. And they did. There was mistakes, but you saw guys flying around and hitting people. And I'm going to tell you what, one of the big question marks also was finding a leader.
Right.
And it's so important when you're a young team coming back from what they did last year, number 34. That is a big step in the right direction.
Especially when you lose all your starting linebackers from a year ago. I think we found a couple tonight. Once again, the final score, Nebraska does win it. The final 47-24 over Western Michigan. Tonight's Nebraska-Western Michigan game is an exclusive presentation of SSN Pay-Per-View. Our next pay-per-view game will come your way next Saturday. Nebraska takes on San Jose State right back here at Memorial Stadium. Coverage begins at 11:30 a.m. For our producer Tim Patz, director Tom Williams, and Stacey Bates, and Rich Baldinger, I'm Ron Thulin. Thanks so much for watching. Congratulations, Nebraska. They win it. We say goodnight from Lincoln.